shows them how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppell Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I have never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in. It is Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. That's Jake Bockoven. Hello, Jake.
Hey, we're back. We're back in studio.
We did it. We're back in studio yesterday on the road at Chick-fil-A. That was fun. We had our little home. It was a trailer. You could almost live in there. You had all the Chick-fil-A you could eat, and we had beverages. It was great. Every Tuesday, Tailgate Tuesday, that's where we'll be. We'll alternate between the two Chick-fil-A's. Yesterday at 48th and O. Next time at South Point is where we'll be located. So there you go. Yeah. We are on a live stream, the Sutter Heyman live stream, along with the Sutter Heyman text line. You can text us at 464-5685. Same number, Honda of Lincoln hotline, 464-5685 is the number. Lots of talk yesterday about the Nebraska defense, and you had Matt Lubick talk about the offense as well. Did anything stand out to you from what was said from the coaches yesterday?
Not really. I mean, it gets again to the point. At least we're moving on past the previous week. But there's not a whole lot that can be said that makes you feel a whole lot better about it. And then there's not a whole lot can be said to prepare for Fordham that you're tuning into. You just hope that they can kind of correct their errors and move on in practice. And we've always heard practice has been pretty good. So hopefully it actually is moving forward.
The good news is the sellout streak is alive,
That's right.
baby. No doubt about it. It is alive and well, according to Trev Alberts yesterday, due to something called the Red Carpet Experience. They're giving tickets out. They had like 2,600 left, I want to say. And they gave those out to kids, underserved kids throughout the state. Two big donors apparently stepped up and made that happen. So the sellout streak, at least for one more week, is preserved. And then on to Buffalo. I don't think they've sold out any game beyond this weekend versus Fordham.
Well, it's an amazing an act for everybody, or for the people that did, I should say, step up and do this, and the ideas over there at the university to get this game sold out. I mean, it's like Nebraska Nice came in and sold the sellout streak and saved it, and it's amazing, and we can get more of a discussion about what all that means in the long run. But I think for now, I think it's just. It's an amazing. I mean, there's so many negative headlines around the football team and things that are going the wrong way. For the athletic department to stand up and figure out something to do like this, and Trev Alberts had his video that he presented and said he understood the importance of it to the fans, the importance of it to the program, and that's something that past athletic directors, I think, would probably not quite get. But Trev Alberts being, born and raised and brought up through the university and university system, it's just incredible. And then, for the opportunities for all these younger kids, my dad does a thing with World Family Kids Camp. I know those guys are going to be able to get a shot to go to a Husker game. And it's just incredible. You think about your own game, maybe it depends on what kind of family you came in growing up or whatever. But for a lot of us, it's just, you didn't get to go to the marquee games. You maybe got to go to the games that you could afford. And for other people not being able to go to any of those. And we talked yesterday about kids not maybe relating to Nebraska football. And sometimes that's part of it is, just never get to go to a game. So absolutely incredible. Love the good work that's being done over there at the university.
Yeah, I think it's great that they did that. But as James says, you really consider the sellout streak alive? There's been a number of times where boosters have had to step forward and buy tickets.
Yeah.
And part of it is they don't consider it a sellout. Nebraska doesn't, and they could just say it's a sellout And when those tickets are returned by Fordham or Buffalo or whoever, you just don't count that against the sellout because you sold your tickets. And that's usually what it is. It's the tickets coming back from opponents. And in this case, 2,600. But what happens when you get 30,000 no-shows on Saturday?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some empty seats there, which is what it is. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how much you care about the sellout streak. Obviously, the legitimacy of it this isn't the first time that you're going to see empty seats in Memorial Stadium. And so it's a bit of a mirage, but at the same time, you still get so many different people. Or so many people. I always go back to this when, the audio tape came out about Bo getting mad in 2011 when so many people left at Ohio State. You still had a stadium more than 90% of college football has filled cheering for you, even when you're down however many they were. And that's the same point here is, you might not sell out because you've built so many seats in that place that it was kind of to the tipping point. But you still have so many people going to that game. And to me, it is just, it's something that, not every program has boosters that'll step up and buy tickets. So it is a sellout.
Notre Dame gave up on their sellout in 2019 at 273. Nebraska's at 376 now with this sellout. I think I saw a stat, despite they're the only program in the top 10 as far as capacity, every single week. I think they're a little ahead of Alabama. And Alabama is obviously great. They just won the national championship again. Nobody else on that list is even close to Nebraska that's played as crappy a football as Nebraska. So, I mean, the fans are amazing. I mean, I've always said it. There's no reason that Nebraska football should have been as good as it has been or as it was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I think it can be great again. Can it be that good? I don't know. But as Herb Street said, he's not buying that, kids just don't want to go to Lincoln, Nebraska anymore because he sees it in Madison, Wisconsin or Iowa City. I was able to do it. You're seeing a revival, I think, right now at Minnesota. I'm not going to accept that Nebraska just can't do it. If Scott Frost can't do it, then nobody can do it. That's BS to me.
Well, yeah, and I think that's always been a little bit I think that's overblown. I mean, it's not like Tuscaloosa, Alabama is the greatest place to go spend, have a 2-week vacation or, mostly for any of these top schools. I mean, there's like places like Miami and USC and maybe certain campuses that are just the beautiful and can maybe recruit themselves and have all these other things to do. But, most college towns are either like Lincoln or worse off than Lincoln, to be honest. Most of them are like small college towns.
I think it's one of the
Lincoln's one of the best college cities in
the Big Ten.
In the Big Ten, for sure. Yeah,
for sure. But you always hear about the sellout streak. And even in this building, Jake Sorensen, we were having lunch yesterday at Chick-fil-A. Just let it in. Don't stop living in the past. This isn't the 90s anymore. Something reverberating.
Something's vibrating completely all over.
Something going wrong here in the studio. I probably touched something again, and it's about to blow up. But the sellout streak, a lot of people feel that way. Like, stop living in the past, embrace the future, and as soon as you embrace the future and stop living in the 90s, then we can move on.
But the sellout, I don't understand that argument because the sellout streak is far beyond the 90s. It goes back, predates the whole Osborne era back to obviously Devaney in the 60s. So I get the part to stop living in the past, but it's part of the past is 2017. Part of the past is 2007. These pretty rough years that we've had over the last several years, and Nebraska has sold out those games. Again, you maybe have a donor come in and buy tickets here and there, but it's. I truly believe, and I don't just say this to try to gain some favor from the listeners here. I truly believe Nebraska has some of the best fans in the nation.
They have the best fans in the nation.
Right.
I think that it's by far the best fan base in the nation. And I just point to 376, the last big thing Nebraska really has in their corner.
At all.
Because
every other streak has been broken, and that's going to happen on the football field. Eventually, your dominant football team's going to go away, and you're gonna lose these streaks you're making. But what you can do as a fan base is show that support, continue to show that support, and have something there. You can't, because a lot of fan bases and a lot of coaches and recruiting, you can sell, hey, we have the best fans. Yeah, everybody's going to say we have the best fans. Sure, we have the best fans. Nebraska has something to point to that says, hey, don't listen to what they're saying. We legitimately have this record, and I don't think the record would be broken in a long, long time if they stopped it now. Obviously, everything is changing toward people watching things on their couches. Is a lot more easier. We've been talking about that problem for years, but I think it's something that Nebraska should hold on to and be one of their number one selling points is the fan base that is around this program.
Yeah. What do you think? Text line 464-5685. Call the text line, or you can call the Honda of Lincoln hotline. You can text the Sauter-Heyman text line 464-5685. Do you care about the sellout streak, or you just want to move on from the sellout streak? Because I think a lot of people are in that corner. I talk to people that were almost wishing the Fordham game would not be sold out, so you can move on and stop talking about it.
And I get people too are saying, like, I even had a friend say that he'd like the new in-U helmet. Wouldn't mind that be permanent. I mean, if you do all these changes, if you move all the way from the past, I understand that it gets you to a point where you want to see the action on the field, but you wouldn't be saying that if the team is 10-2. You would include the past.
Right.
The problem is if you start to take away all the things that made Nebraska special and you throw it away and try to start something new, then you don't really set yourself out aside from Purdue or Illinois or anybody. I mean, you have 5-year losing streak like Nebraska's had with at Purdue isn't that big of a story. At Nebraska, at least national columnists, national people are jumping and waiting to pile on Nebraska. Nebraska is a blue blood. Treat it as such. Continue to love that history that you've had. And again, it's not necessarily a thing. I think most people have moved on from the fact that Nebraska wants to live in the 90s. Nebraska just wants to have a good product on the football field.
A lot of people feel both ways. I mean, some people say protect it. It's all we have. That's what Toby says. Others, like Paul said, it needs to end. We haven't played well enough over the past 10 years for the fans to keep supporting the football program. Some think it's artificially, it's a fake sellout streak because you have to have boosters come in at the very end to buy up the tickets. And then you sometimes see 60,000 in the fans, 60,000 fans at Memorial Stadium when it holds 90. And I do wonder about what will happen on Saturday. And I think it'll ramp up. I mean, it'll ramp up that argument when you go into Buffalo week. And Trev Albert said it yesterday or the day before. This is going to be a challenge all season long. And if they play football like they did last weekend against Illinois, the sellout streak is over. I really thought it was over this week.
I mean, it very well could have been if this idea didn't pop into their head, or maybe the donors would still buy it there. But again, I go back to the point. I mean, you can say that it's fake because donors are buying it, but if it was that easy, then everybody would have all these sellout streak with all these donors always buying extra tickets.
Right?
It's not that easy. I mean, the reason the sellout streak is there is because of the support, not just from the fans but the donors. So I mean, those guys, whoever stepped up and did that, deserve a lot of credit for it. And then again, just to be able to do this, I mean, I hope this is a new tradition. If you start to have more ticket problems and the donors are going to buy them up, why buy them and throw them away? You're talking about trying to get a new generation of kids interested. Yeah. And there is a serious disconnect from people that lived in the 90s and understand, all of that. And we'll teach you about the history of Husker football, and young kids that just, it's the show in town, but it's nothing special. Teach them that. We always say, get the recruits on campus. We'll get the kids to a game.
Yeah, I agree. The red carpet idea is a great idea for underserved youth. And now they need a vehicle to get the tickets in the hands of those kids. Rather short notice. You don't have a lot of time to do it. And I think they will. They'll reach out to youth groups throughout the state and get those tickets given away rather quickly. This off the text line, 464-5685. Been going to Husker games for the past 30 years. Couldn't care less about the sellout streak. In a way, it's almost embarrassing. While it's admirable that the fans support the team no matter what, it gives the appearance that we truly have nothing better to do.
That's always been a silly thing to me too. I mean, I go back to what do you think there is to do in Fayetteville? I mean, there's just not a whole lot to do in a lot of these cities, and sure, that's part of the problem. Again, if you compare yourself to UCLA or USC, yeah, there's not a lot to do compared to Los Angeles. Sorry, but especially I'm actually pretty happy about Lincoln and Omaha's entertainment options. They've stepped up. You're starting to get with PBA and obviously what they've done in Omaha. You're starting to get pretty good acts in here. You're not going to have a beach. You're never going to have a beach. I'm sorry. That's going to be something that's always going to be a problem for you. And to be quite honest, there's not that many places to travel around Lincoln or Omaha. I mean, as far as entertainment options go. Yeah. So it kind of is what it is, but there's plenty of places where there's nothing to do in the Midwest where people don't flock to the football stadium.
Not just the football stadium, Bock.
Right. They absolutely.
Haymarket Park. Obviously, what volleyball has done over the years is tremendous. Nebraska has a top 15 crowd in college basketball. At least they did before COVID. And they were crappy program.
Yeah.
They continually do well at the PBA. I almost said the Vandy Center. But Nebraska does well in all sports. This is just a good fan base, period.
Absolutely.
Yes, they love a winner. And I do worry if it continues that if apathy does completely set in, and I do believe the sellout streak is coming to an end this year. I just think I thought it was going to be this week. But maybe, you have marketing campaigns like, underserved youth and get those tickets out. Maybe you can save it this year. I don't know. Or maybe they just start winning. That would be a good idea. That would help the sellout streak. This off the text line, 464-5685. Nyla said that last guy was an idiot, but she calls me an idiot all the time as well. So don't worry about that. The sellout streak is in jeopardy, but also COVID came into play. We even saw this with Garth Brooks. Yeah, a little bit, but Garth was packed. I think there were 90,000 there when you include all the people on the field. There were at least 90,000 people at Garth. That was really.
I mean, that is one thing that we don't want to talk about too much, just because people are tired of talking about it on Sports Station. But I mean, that I'm sure is going to come into play for some people that have tickets that just don't want to go and mask up or be around everybody because the numbers have been rising recently. So I mean, that's absolutely going to be part of it, and part of something that everybody has to fight for. And certainly, I mean, but the thing is, Nebraska football is so big that if Nebraska was winning, it almost wouldn't be a part of it. Yeah. Because there's enough people that wouldn't care.
Frederick Frank says, knothole section. When I was in high school or junior high, somebody would come over to the classroom and give away those knothole section tickets.
Nice.
To the kids. That's kind of a cool thing to do. I think it's a great idea. And it was creative. And they came up with it. And for 1 week, it preserves the sellout streak. Nobody's ever going to touch that thing, by the way. Notre Dame at 273. Right, yeah. Nobody's ever going, especially what you just talked about. There's too many other options, and you can sit on your couch, drink beer, eat the chips and pizza and whatever you want, to eat, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about leaving the house. And now with COVID, I think COVID does play a role, no doubt about it. So there you go. Going to have a good show today. We've got Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. He's going to talk Kishi Tamanaga, when he arrives in Lincoln, he is going to be an instant star. He already is in Japan. One of their bigger newspapers, maybe their biggest, wrote a column about him being in the Olympics, and now he's in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah. They already want him to go to the NBA.
Yeah, they think he's going to be in the NBA. He's going to be a tough challenge. It's going to be a tough challenge for a guy who's 6'1",
right?
If that, to make it in the NBA. But you never know. He did perform well at the Olympics. So we'll talk a little Husker football and, of course, basketball with Chris Bassnett. Tom Chattel will make his very first appearance on this show. So please.
Excited about that. Great columnist.
The best. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. So we'll have him on a little bit later on. And Dirk Chatelain. So it's an Omaha World Herald Day on the show, talking about the sellout streak, because he did tweet about it. And he doesn't think it's a big deal if it ends, or at least not as big of a deal as some others do. And I don't think he's alone in that camp. He had some interesting stats that he's tweeted out about Nebraska. We've got that plus box tops. What is it today?
The top 10 Fordham graduates. This is actually a better list than most most schools that we'll do throughout the year. They actually have a lot of
They do.
Yeah, a lot of people there that you would of note.
All right. So we'll do that at noon. That and lots more with Tom and Bock.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Ready for this?
1, 2, 3, up.
At Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals, success in rehabilitation is measured in breakthroughs. Taking a step after a brain injury, feeling reassurance after a spinal trauma, saying a word after a stroke. We bring hope and healing to adults and children through clinical expertise, cutting-edge research, and innovative technology. After traumatic illness and injury, when some might say, I can't, at Madonna we work hard to say, now you can. Learn more at madonna.org.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Happy Monday, everybody! Yay!
Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week. Yay! The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday. Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting. Yay! Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Labor Day weekend. We are thankful for all the hard workers in this country that make it great and celebrate with them all with well-deserved time off this weekend. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialist here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services on the air because they care.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Deck City is Lincoln's DIY deck headquarters. With real deck professionals, they can help you throughout the entire process. They also offer financing for qualified customers. Deck City offers the best quality materials so you have a deck built to last. There's everything from yellowwood lumber to the best quality TimberTech composites on the market and high quality aluminum railings by Westbury or Diamond Piers for easy footing install. For those looking to bring your wood deck back to life, they offer good proof ready seal stain. Deck City, your deck material headquarters, is now open Saturdays from 9 to 1, 2 blocks north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway. Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric has been serving Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for over 50 years. They've been a trusted name to deliver honest, quality services you can count on. It's always important to know someone you can trust, whether it's for your home or your business. Action is well established and offers convenience and reliability, always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
For today's Husker Radio Report, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com. Nebraska's sellout streak will now extend to 376, thanks in part to Trev Albert's leadership in putting together a red carpet experience. Nearly 3,000 tickets were purchased by boosters that will go to underprivileged children that can't typically get into a Husker game. And as Ben Stilley said, no matter what, he's expecting an electric environment on Saturday.
Never been in a game here that wasn't, electric, especially the opening game. I'm excited to have the fans back in the stadium. Obviously, I think they'll be excited to be back too.
As for what he wants to see on the field this week, senior captain Austin Allen said his expectations are pretty simple.
I want to see us not stoop to the level somebody of a smaller opponent, not to belittle Fordham. FCS school, it's a trap game for a lot of people. If you don't take the important steps and treat it like any other game, like a Big Ten game, like I said, it's a trap game. We just got to take care of us and get the job done this weekend.
Reporting here with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tom and Bock on your Wednesday. Hope it's off to a good start. Bringing in Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I've never had the words "good start" used with my name before, so that's very flattering.
Well, we depend on you. You usually start our show right around 11:30, so there's a lot on your shoulders to carry this show.
Man, that's a lot of pressure for a guy like me.
That's right. Speaking of pressure, the sellout streak looked like it had ended. I thought it was over. And they announced the red carpet event where they're giving 2,600 tickets, read about that, to underserved youth. What do you think about that? What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it was good that Trev Alberts was transparent and that, the donors bought these tickets, but the donors bought these tickets and they're going to a good cause. It's not like maybe it's been at some past games where the tickets get bought up and then they just go unused. The Nebraska's turning this into something positive for what will hopefully be a lot of kids and their families. They're turning it into something positive from a PR standpoint, and they're turning it into something that, from their point of view, hopefully becomes a regular deal. When they have tickets they need to sell, they can grow this program and make it work. So, yeah, like when I talked to Trev yesterday, he said, I don't see any losers in this. All I see is winners in this. I think that's a good way to put it. There's not a lot of bad, I think, that can come out of this.
Now, you mentioned a possibility of doing that in the future. Do you think that as the season goes on, there's going to be a lot more opportunities for this if things don't turn around?
Yeah, it probably depends a lot on how the team plays, right? If they do start playing like gangbusters and they start winning a bunch of games, and there's probably going to be fewer tickets available. But if the struggles continue, and it looks like it did Saturday against Illinois, then it's going to be a week-to-week grind, certainly, to get all the tickets sold. But yeah, this is a program I don't see going away anytime soon, no matter what happens. But at the same time, I think the football team's got to do its part too and put a good product on the field for people to want to come watch.
Our text line is divided, Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star, on whether or not to just let this thing die or no. The sellout streak is the last thing we have at 376. Ultimately, someday it's going to fall. I mean, all empires do fall. But how big of a deal do you think it is for Husker Nation?
It's definitely, I think it's big enough, right? Because it's been the topic of conversation since the season started, basically. Certainly since the game Saturday ended, and certainly big enough that the athletic director at the university felt compelled to make a video yesterday talking about the importance of it and talk to multiple media outlets about it. So, yeah, certainly I think it's very important. And opinions are probably going to be split. Obviously there's going to be some that maybe don't care and maybe think that it's best that it ends. And there's obviously going to be those maybe more traditionalists that want to see it keep going and want to see how long this thing can last. So, yeah, I think it is it's an important thing to Husker Nation one way or the other, no matter your opinion on it. Because if it wasn't important, then we wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't be having this discussion about the red carpet experience. We wouldn't be worried about anything else to do with it. We'd just be worried about the game Saturday. So yeah, I still think it has a pretty important place in the Husker fan base, no matter your opinion on it.
Now, turning our attention to the field now, obviously Nebraska did drop their first game 30-22 to Illinois. Preseason, everybody's putting a lot on that game, how important it would be, the goal for Nebraska to make the bowl game, thin margin of error, all that. But now that the loss is there, do you think that they have a chance to kind of make that up as the season progresses? Because in my mind, this was always a team that probably wasn't going to win every game they were supposed to win, but hopefully they can win a game or two that they're not supposed to win.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, right? I don't think you can ever predict anything with this program. And I say that only half jokingly because who knows, how many people thought Nebraska was going to go out and lose that game Saturday or at least lose it in the manner that they did, looking exactly like that team has for the last 3 years. So, I mean, you never know. Obviously, there's still 11 games left on the schedule. So can you find a way to win 6 of those? I don't know. You're going to have to play better than you did Saturday, certainly. But yeah, it's probably going to take now beating somebody that maybe most people don't expect you to beat. Maybe it means your margin for error is now 0 in the games that you should win or will be favored to win. You can't afford any more slip-ups like that. So, yeah, certainly I think the possibility is always there for Nebraska to make it up, but the margin of errors pretty much shrunk to nothing if Nebraska wants to get to 6 wins.
Chris Bassinet is our guest of the Lincoln Journal-Star. We have this conversation all the time. No way is he on the hot seat, and we would have said that even last week. And now the seat for Scott Frost has definitely gotten warmer. I mean, that felt like a must-win game over Illinois. Where is your Husker panic meter right now?
Oh, it's off the charts. I haven't slept for days.
Excellent.
No, I mean, I don't know if panic's the right word for me. Certainly stuff needs to get better. Certainly the play on the field needs to get better. Certainly the coaching needs to get better. There's pretty obviously a disconnect there between what Nebraska wanted to do and what it thought it was going to be able to do from what happened in practice to what transpired in the game that they need to get figured out. So this was never going to be a perfect team. I don't think anybody's arguing that, but to see it be so imperfect, I think was surprising to a lot of people, and maybe even a lot of people on that coaching staff. So, yeah, I don't know if panic's the right word yet, but things need to get better in a hurry because even if Nebraska wins these next 2 games, I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of momentum that comes out of those. And then here comes Oklahoma, and then you're back into the Big Ten schedule. So there's some things that need to get cleaned up, and they need to get cleaned up in a hurry if Nebraska wants to make a run at this deal.
Well, yesterday we saw roster cuts. Maybe some people surprised to see Jack Stoll as a free agent make his NFL team. Matt Farniak, of course, have a 7th-round draft pick making his team. It kind of goes back to the idea, are they getting the most out of their players while they're in Lincoln? If guys like that we didn't chuck up as big losses are now going to be playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. I think you're right. Certainly a guy like Jack Stoll, and you have to give Jack all the credit in the world for putting himself in that position because it's hard as an undrafted guy to make the 53-man roster. There's just not a lot of guys that are like that. So first and foremost, I think you have to give credit to Jack for putting himself in that position. But at the same time, yeah, there probably is a question of player development, of player utilization at certain positions for a lot of these guys. And are they getting used the right way at Nebraska? Are they being put in the best positions at Nebraska? I think that's a fair question when you see some of the guys that ended up on rosters yesterday. So again, this program has a lot of issues. It needs to work out, and that it has needed to work out for a while now. This is just another one on that list. And I think certainly every year when you see, cut day roll around in the NFL and you see undrafted guys from Nebraska ending up on rosters or lowly drafted guys ending up on rosters after maybe a middling career at Nebraska, then you start going, what's the issue there? What's the disconnect there? So yeah, certainly something to keep an eye on.
I don't want you to break down the Fordham game because I might fall asleep if you did that. But I do. What do you want to see Saturday from Nebraska football?
Just play clean, right? And that's the simplest way to put it. And that's the same thing we've been saying for years now. Don't field a punt at the 2 and turn it into to a reality show. Don't commit 30 yards in penalties when you've got an interception. Don't run a quarterback sneak because you don't know it's 1st and goal. Clean up the dumb stuff. And that seems like a simple thing to say, and it is a simple thing to say, but man, it has been hard. It's just been impossible for this team to avoid that stuff. So yeah, score notwithstanding Saturday, just look like a football team that's been coached. Look like a team that's drilled the right things. Look like a team that's on the same page, and let everything else take care of itself. That's got to be where it starts for Nebraska, because that's the only way Nebraska has any kind of success this year. If it stops, not only shooting itself in the foot, but just blowing the foot completely off the leg with the mistakes they make. So that's where it starts for me. I don't care about the score Saturday. If Nebraska plays good, clean, sound football, that's going to be more than enough to win that game. That should be enough to maybe build some confidence and habits going into the next week.
Chris, I mentioned this yesterday, and the one thing I'm curious about on the depth chart is who is the backup quarterback. We potentially, hopefully, will find out who that is on Saturday, right?
Yeah, you would hope so. Yeah, if you're a Nebraska fan, and certainly if you're Nebraska's coaching staff, you want to be able to get whoever that number 2 guy is some reps, and maybe both of those guys some reps if it's a close race for the backup spot. But yeah, if Adrian Martinez is still in this game in the fourth quarter, there's going to be a lot more important things to talk about the next week than whether the backup quarterback got to play or not. So, yeah, that's the other part of it too. You've got an opportunity in this game against a physically overmatched opponent to put this thing away by halftime or early third quarter and get some of those guys on the field that need reps. And look, this team needs reps at a lot of positions, whether it's running back, whether it's quarterback, whatever position you may want to look at. Anytime you can get those younger guys on the field and get them game experience and get them game experience in front of fans too. Let's not forget that part of it compared to last year. That's another part of it too. So yeah, you hope and you pray if you're on this coaching staff that it's not a deal where you've got the top line guys in there late in the third quarter, early in the fourth, because then you've got way bigger issues to worry about. But yeah, this is an opportunity to kind of figure out some of those roles maybe for those other guys.
Well, we can joke about it, how serious to take this game and all that, but at the same time, I've been wondering for years if Adrian Martinez has enough help around him, and certainly didn't get that answer in game 1. Maybe Oliver Martin stepped up enough that you think that he's going to be the biggest help to Adrian this week. But I'm certainly going to be watching the running backs, the wide receivers. At least hopefully the wide receivers can get some separation in this game. Who did you come out of the first game? And obviously you're probably not too stuck on one answer, but who did you come out thinking would be able to help Adrian Martinez this year more than maybe we'd seen in past years?
Well, you said the name. I think Oliver Martin was a guy that really stood out. He got loose for a deep ball, made a good catch. He kind of seemed to be a guy that Adrian looked to a lot in that game. And it's just so hard to tell. The offense didn't really play well enough to get a clear picture of that. And the running game was so poor, that we didn't get a clear picture of that, and whether that falls on the running backs or the offensive line or whatever, it just needs to be better. So, yeah, I don't know if there are a lot of guys that you look at and go, oh, yeah, that guy should really help Adrian Martinez this year. Samari Toure had a couple nice plays early, but he was pretty quiet the rest of the game. Omar Manning had his hand in a couple plays, but didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. So I think there's still a lot of questions there, and we'll hopefully maybe find a few answers to that come Saturday.
Chris Bassinet is our guest of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Some basketball notes. You sat down with Kisi Tamanaga. How was that conversation?
It was interesting. Kisi's a fun guy, an engaging guy. Still working on the English. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. And just an interesting dude. He's never played any other sport but basketball. Started off with just a little hoop in his house when he was a little kid, and has always just had the gift to shoot the ball. He said, it's been a journey for him. Coming to Texas, to Ranger College in Texas, and playing for Billy Gillespie, that was an experience in itself. Learning English by talking with his teammates down there, interacting with his teammates, interacting with his coaches. He didn't know English when he first came to the United States. So this is a kid out on his own trying to make it and having to do it in a brand new place a long way from home. So, yeah, just an interesting guy, a guy with a lot of confidence, I think, in himself and his abilities. See what that looks like when the lights come on over at PBA later on this fall. But just a really, really intriguing guy and a really engaging guy to watch.
Name, image, and likeness. We've talked about it before with Kisi. He's really going to benefit from it. I don't know how many millions of followers he has, but he's a big star already in Japan.
Yeah, he is. And you look at the Instagram account, you look at the Twitter account, and you're probably looking at 6 figures in followers for that guy. Look, the dude played in the Olympics and represented his country, and was probably the best high school player in his country when he was coming out of high school. So he's got a chance to be a star. Who knows what the NIL stuff looks like with kids from foreign countries and how that works with visas and things like that. But yeah, he's got a chance. He's already a star in Japan. There's no doubt about that. Before he talked to us today, he spent part of the morning talking to some of the Japanese media back home because he's an interesting story there. So, yeah, he's got a chance, to be certainly an incredibly popular figure at Nebraska if he comes out and does what this coaching staff thinks he can do, he's going to be massively popular. And it becomes a matter of how can he turn that exposure into something that he can use to benefit himself.
Kind of a weird situation in recruiting right now, where Isaac Trout, of course, of the Grand Island product, committed to Virginia over the weekend. Meanwhile, Nebraska and Creighton, maybe not getting the in-state guys, but both recruiting at ways that they've never seen either program do before. How much do you expect that to change over the years? Do you expect the recruiting from those programs to drop down, or do you expect at least for those programs to be able to get some more of these in-state kids?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I can't speak on Creighton because that's a different situation. But certainly Nebraska's going to look everywhere for players, and you don't have to go any further than the guy we just talked about. They brought in a guy from Japan who went to junior college in Texas. They're going to look all over, and whether those players are in Lincoln or Omaha or Grand Island or Chadron or Japan or France or California or Canada or wherever they may be, Nebraska, this staff isn't afraid to go find those guys. And if they think they can help Nebraska, and if they've got the skills to fit into what this team wants to do from an offensive and defensive standpoint, they're going to get them. Certainly Nebraska's recruiting at a different level than it ever has before. And you only have to look at the latest recruiting class to see that. You only have to look at some of the official visitors set to come in October to see that. It's going to be different than it ever has been. And Nebraska's not going to get every single one of those guys, but they're going to have a shot on some of those guys. And that's going to be fascinating, I think, to watch as the years play out. Certainly if Nebraska starts winning games and making runs in the NCAA tournament and things like that, this thing has the potential to really go into rarefied air for Nebraska from a recruiting standpoint. So we'll see what it looks like. It's obviously, I think, disappointing to the fan base if Nebraska misses out on an in-state kid, but this obviously isn't the end of the road for Nebraska. They've got some big-time guys lined up for official visits, and they've got a chance with some of those big-time guys as well.
It seems crazy. Nebraska's lost, and so does Creighton, by the way, lost the top-ranked recruit in the state of Nebraska 3 years in a row. But yet, Creighton has, I think, the 6th-ranked class in the country, Nebraska, like 18th, and they're not getting Hunter Salas. They're not getting Isaac Trout. They're not getting Max Morrell. They're not getting the best players in the state. It seems kind of odd.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I don't know what the explanation is for that. I think you look at a guy like Hunter Salas, certainly, and a guy like Isaac Trout, and those guys can go anywhere they want pretty much in the entire country. And if you're Hunter Salas and Gonzaga comes calling after the season they just had and the tradition they've built there, that's hard to turn down, right? And we know Creighton's been a very, very good basketball program, but they're not on the level of Gonzaga. Nebraska's not on the level of Gonzaga. When North Carolina and Virginia and programs come calling, it's going to be tough for the in-state teams to keep those guys here because they're going up against the biggest brands in the nation. And I think that's just the reality of the situation. It's not necessarily a knock on either Creighton or Nebraska that they haven't gotten these guys. They're just going up against the best programs in the country for players that happen to be some of the best in the country that just happen to be from Nebraska. So yeah, Nebraska and Creighton probably have some built-in advantages being in the state, but at the same time, if I'm a recruit and Gonzaga wants me to come there and I've got to choose between Gonzaga and Nebraska and Creighton, it's going to be pretty tough to turn the Zags down.
Is there a line on this game? I haven't seen one. Vegas just called, Chris. They want your pick.
Give me Nebraska. I don't know. I just talked about how they need to play clean football. I'll believe that when I see it. I don't know if it's the prettiest thing ever, but I think Nebraska, they win comfortably. I think it'll be similar to a Bethune-Cookman score. It was like, 49-8 or 52-10 or something like that.
Right. Do you remember Idaho State? That was the worst football team I've ever seen in my life. It was like 77-7. Do you remember the final on that one? Yeah, that was crazy.
That was brutal.
I actually am kind of rooting for something like that. I hope it does happen. I just don't know. I have no idea what to expect. Good stuff, Chris. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Let's get to break and come back with the blog jog next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Cloudy skies this morning should give way to a little bit of afternoon sunshine. We'll top out near 82. A southeast wind at around 15. We'll keep a few clouds around the region tonight with a low of 67. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover. A decent chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms. and a high once again near 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Ready for this?
1, 2, 3, up.
At Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals, success in rehabilitation is measured in breakthroughs. Taking a step after a brain injury, feeling reassurance after a spinal trauma, saying a word after a stroke. We bring hope and healing to adults and children through clinical expertise, cutting-edge research, and innovative technology. After traumatic illness and injury, when some might say, I can't, at Madonna we work hard to say, now you can. Learn more at madonna.org.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths and sandals with brands like Clark's, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
We take our college football Saturdays so seriously at 93.7 The Ticket that one post-game show simply isn't enough. Join Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and DP for The Ticket postgame. 90 minutes following each Nebraska game at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. They'll break down the game from their vantage point and bring in special guests as well, with giveaways to listeners who drop by. It's The Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman and DP at Tanner's Bar and Grill. Sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning and Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
Happy Monday, everybody!
Yay! Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week. Yay! The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday. Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting. Yay! Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric has been serving Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for over 50 years. They've been a trusted name to deliver honest, quality services you can count on. It's always important to know someone you can trust, whether it's for your home or your business. Action is well established and offers convenience and reliability, always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
Grab yourself a hot dog, pour a glass of eggnog, and settle in. This is The Blog Job on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick is here, of course, your host of Happy Hour. He'll be hosting solo again today, but he's done a fabulous job. He doesn't need no stinking help.
No, absolutely not.
Although I'm sure you miss Rico.
Oh, absolutely. I miss Rico. Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wrong way to put it. I miss Rico. I don't miss all of
How
his
many ways do I
boisterous
let miss Rico? Let me count the ways.
Yeah, I
miss Rico.
Maybe I
You
don't,
don't miss his takes?
His boisterous takes. He texted in on the text line yesterday. It was funny because we were talking about Cam Newton, obviously, and he got mad because I was talking crap about Cam Newton, Cam Newton's bad. Like, Cam Newton is bad.
He was good in 2015.
Exactly. And I was saying, we'll see what Mac Jones does. And he texted in and goes, Cam is great, but Mac Jones will win Rookie of the Year and multiple Super Bowls. So it's okay.
Oh, man.
I was like, Rico, I can hear it in your voice over the text line.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are mad about Cam. I think Cam deserves an opportunity to play. I think maybe a lot of people are speculating Houston, that he's going to end up a Texan. I don't know about that. I think he's going to
Dallas.
He didn't want to be I think they went to Cam and said, you're going to be the backup. Do you really want to stay, or you want us to cut it?
Yeah.
And they said, well, he said, cut me. And now he gets an opportunity to play for somebody else. He'll be on a roster somewhere.
I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if he wants to be the backup. I think he'd rather wait in free agency till somebody gets hurt or something, and he can go in and at least get a chance to resurrect his career.
Well, like I said yesterday, Bishop Sycamore has a couple opening spots. So he's more than welcome to head over there to Bishop Sycamore.
Sycamore.
All right.
Did you see that story?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay. Yeah.
great.
The head coach
We haven't
got
talked
fired
about that,
yesterday.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting stuff. All right. Couple things here. This one comes from Britain.
Did you say it with an accent? Britain?
Great Britain.
No, I think my voice just cut out there for a second. A man bounces for more than 10 miles on an inflatable ball.
That's too much.
Wow.
10 miles?
Was it set a record? Was he trying to set a Guinness
to
Book
set a world record? Yeah. He got the idea for his record-breaking journey on Space Hopper.
Right.
An inflatable ball that allows a rider to bounce in the sitting position. That's it.
So is his feet firmly on the ground, or is that the balance?
I think it's balanced. He said that he originally intended to bounce a full 13 miles down a coast, but he decided to stop after 10 and a half due to the number of space hoppers he popped along the way and the strain that the 17-hour bouncing session was putting on his body.
Would you like to have either of you a world record, even if it's as stupid as ball bouncing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Joey Chestnut, that's kind of cool.
Greatest in the world?
Or you're the strongest man in the world. That's really cool. I bounce on balls for 72 hours.
This was for a lot longer, 17 hours.
17
So,
hours. Okay. Whatever.
Which is still,
that's pretty good.
nonstop.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it.
I wonder what the pogo stick record is. I'm pretty good at pogo stick. I was when I was younger. Probably not anymore.
We should find out. We should test you out. And maybe if we could have somebody on this station with a world record, our ratings would go.
I
through the roof.
unicycled for 3 blocks one time.
Listen, man, I don't know. I don't know how realistic the pogo stick thing is.
Yeah.
Over under 184,000 bounces. What are we thinking? Over under.
It sounds like 17 hours. You mean?
No. For the most bounces on a pogo stick.
Oh, the most bounces.
184,000.
Over under 184,000.
That seems like that would take a long time to do, but I'll go over that.
I'll go under. Just give
It's
it
over.
Oh, wow.
206,864 bounces.
I think I could beat it.
Achieved by James.
You said you did it for what, 3 minutes?
Yeah. I used to do it around the block. Have no problem doing that.
Pogo sticks used to be a popular thing. Are they still in? Are they
I
back in?
haven't seen a pogo stick in 2
I don't
decades.
think they make them.
Yeah. Are they dangerous? Maybe?
Somebody makes them.
Here's a question. Are you guys able to hula hoop?
No, not well. I can do.
Not too well.
I think my record is 17.
Really? I don't think I've ever
most
been
of that
able
is
to
just
hoop it.
You got to have hips to be able to do it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have hips.
You don't have hips of a dancer.
Gotta listen to Shakira and.
Oh,
There
hips
you go.
don't lie.
Hips
That's
don't
right.
lie.
Oh, yeah, no.
She's got to have the world record for hula
Yeah, she
hooping.
could if she wanted. I think
I would watch that.
you would watch all of it. It would be
watch
quite a bit of time to watch.
Why isn't one of her videos include a hula hoop?
Just her hula hooping.
That's a very good question. James, the pogo stick guy, bounced for 20 hours and 13 minutes straight.
Oh, wow. That's not
Think
too
about all
impressive.
you have to do.
I don't have the patience for it because my brother and I tried to set a frisbee record, or catching footballs.
Oh, did you?
We tried a bunch of these. We started with frisbees, and neither of us could throw a frisbee, and then we moved to a football, and then we looked up the record, and we were like a million behind.
Yeah,
I mean,
there seems to be easy enough things like that you could just do until it's the record. But yeah, you have to have patience for it.
Sometimes in the winter, we would put up a clothesline in the house and with a balloon, see how many
Tap it
times
back and forth?
tap it back and
Yeah.
forth without
Really?
it falling to the ground. But
you never got the record.
I think going back, one more thing before I move on here. I think going back to the hot dog stuff with Joey Chestnut, that stuff is so nasty if you think about it. Because they had soak them in water or in lemonade or whatever, and then they swallow it whole.
They soak them in. When I participated in my hot dog eating contest and I won the amateur division, you got to dunk it. You got to dunk it in water to soften up the bun to get it to go down.
Oh my God.
You did that?
It's not enjoyable.
That's
at all.
gross. Yeah.
And we read last week. It takes 36 minutes off your life. One hot
Every
dog.
hot dog that you eat.
Well, here's the thing about Joey Chestnut is none of those hot dogs stay down. They all come up.
A couple of them have to. I mean, you can't just dig them out.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe there's some ways. All right. Well,
By the way, up the text line, Razor makes pogo sticks these days. Remember Razor scooters?
I do.
Those were sweet.
Those killed your ankles.
Yes, they did. That's
right
true.
on the bone.
I bet
if
it
you
would
hit
be-
that on the
Oh,
bone,
yeah, you're right.
it takes away some of the skin. I can feel it.
Oh,
We should
you're
get
right.
it. I mean, we should have a pogo stick at the office.
Yeah, we should do it in the hallways.
Because you think you could do it for a long period of time.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, just ask the management, see if we can get it.
We used to
get a
play
pogo
golf
stick.
in the hallway.
Yeah.
It turned into golf, and then I mean that was before I got here, but then it was football, and me, Haffer, and Jake and Rico made up a game.
That
and
hallway's
that
like
got banned,
2 feet wide,
and then that game got banned with the football, and so I don't know if Pogo sticks.
Yeah,
to the
we fixed the walls and all that. We better not.
You got anything else?
Yeah, one more thing here. It's not too exciting. An owner in New York surrenders their pet cougar that they kept in their apartment.
Oh, that's too bad. You have to surrender a pet.
It was an 80-pound cougar.
Oh man,
Was it? It might have been trained. I mean, it's only eaten one person the whole time it's lived here.
They purchased the cougar as a cub from an out-of-state seller, and they recently decided to find a new home for him.
What domestic animal would you most like to own? Like a bear?
No.
No.
A
Something
cougar,
small that maybe wouldn't hurt too much.
Like a bunny? Like a bunny or a hamster?
Probably a monkey. Monkeys are always cool.
Oh, monkeys are all right. I always think of
a small one, a spider monkey.
Yeah, I always think
they
of
throw their poop at you.
Oh yeah, I try to train him not to do that.
The monkey off of Friends. Ross's monkey.
Yeah, that's the one.
I lost the name.
I can't remember his name either. I'm sure the text line
Not
does.
Chester. I don't think.
I thought and Joey had a duck, right?
Yes.
He had 2 ducks.
Did he?
I think they had to get rid of the monkey because the monkey was untrained, and there was a whole scene
That's
where
I'm gonna have to
he's
look
giving
up,
it to the San Diego Zoo or something.
I'm gonna
like
have
that.
to look up the monkey's name. I can't think of it.
Yeah, that's very important information. I hope you can find it out
hope
before
so,
you
too.
leave. You'll be back for Wingman, I believe.
Yeah, song's already in there.
That's right.
Nice.
It's gonna surprise some people, I think.
Was it Marcel?
Marcel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
that
you
was
so
it.
much.
Yeah.
There you go. It was Marcel.
So-
Somebody says the ticket needs a mascot. What would our mascot be?
We have Rico.
We have Rico.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We used to have some fish. They all died.
I mean, Schaefer has a dog. Slider could be a mascot.
Slider, yeah, he could be the mascot.
So
Dogs seems like it's a little overused, but I love dogs, and Heidi won't let me have a dog. So if we could have a station dog, that would make up for it a little.
How about something that like husks corn? Would that be interesting?
What
seems like
what
none of us would be able to-
corn?
Something that's not exciting.
A dog that husks corn, or just the name of it.
Maybe even just a person that husks corn. Do you think that would be interesting?
Sits in the corner, just husking away.
That would be good.
All right. The show's going to hell already. Box tops coming up next. What's the category today?
Oh, the top 10 alumni from Fordham, and there's a interesting list.
It's actually
I
a
did
pretty
not
good
have to
list.
stretch this out. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do that next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths and sandals with brands like Clark's, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Happy Monday, everybody!
Yay! Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week. Yay! The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday. Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting. Yay! Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Labor Day weekend. We are thankful for all the hard workers in this country that make it great and celebrate with them all with well-deserved time off this weekend. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialist here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services on the air because they care.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 O Street. Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric has been serving Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for over 50 years. They've been a trusted name to deliver honest, quality services you can count on. It's always important to know someone you can trust, whether it's for your home or your business. Action is well established and offers convenience and reliability, always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
Want to get a hot and perfect body fast? It's so easy. All you have to do is eat lots of bananas, but peels only, and always be sweating, but never look sweaty. That's disgusting.
Don't follow extreme routines. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness. Now through September 16th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. And get back to a real routine with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join today for $1 down, $10 a month, and cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends September 16th. See club for details.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
In today's Husker Radio Report, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com. Nebraska's sellout streak will now extend to 376, thanks in part to Trev Albert's leadership in putting together a red carpet experience. As nearly 3,000 tickets were purchased by boosters that will go to underprivileged children that can't typically get into a Husker game. And as Ben Stilley said, no matter what, he's expecting an electric environment on Saturday.
Never been in a game here that wasn't, electric, especially the opening game. I'm excited to have the fans back in the stadium. Obviously, I think they'll be excited to be back too.
As for what he wants to see on the field this week, senior captain Austin Allen said his expectations are pretty simple.
I want to see us not stoop to the level of somebody of a smaller opponent, not belittle Fordham. FCS school. It's a trap game for a lot of people. If we don't take the important steps and treat it like any other game, like a Big Ten game, like I said, it's a trap game. We just got to take care of us and get the job done this weekend.
Reporting here with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Hour number 2 of Tom and Bock. Quite a bit of Husker football talk in the first hour, as you would expect. More of it on the way with Tom Chattel at the bottom of this hour, and then Dirk Chatlin will be on our show at 1:30 today. The 53-man rosters have been pared down. A number of Huskers made rosters, and a few got cut. Jack Stoll did make the Philadelphia Eagles roster. Sethan Carter, who's been on some practice teams, and, some of these guys may end up on practice squads. We'll find out what happens ultimately with that. But he has made Miami's team. Chris Jones, who's been in the NBA or the NFL for a while now with Tennessee. Stanley Morgan with Cincinnati. He's been there for a while. Brandon Hymas made the LA Chargers.
Did you say Stanley Morgan made the team?
Well, he's been on the practice squad the last couple of years. So, even if you make the team, couldn't they just designate you to the practice squad? It feels like these are not final rosters. Like, even if you made the final, there's a final, like they find somebody else that's been cut by some other team that they like better than you.
Yeah, I guess they could do that. But.
I think it does. I don't think it guarantees you. I don't actually know all the rules, but I've heard that you could still be cut at some point. Matt Farniok lands with the Cowboys. If you have not watched Hard Knocks, it's pretty entertaining. They didn't focus a lot on Matt Farniok trying to make the team, though. Let's see. Khalil Davis is still with Tampa Bay. Carlos is still with Pittsburgh. And then former Huskers to get cut, Lamar Jackson with the Jets, Darian Daniels with the 49ers, Dedrick Mills of the Lions, DiCaprio Boodle of Kansas City, and Freedom Makamulin with Tennessee. Should add Divine Azigbo with the Jags.
Yeah,
he got cut.
Surprising.
Yeah, I think he's been with New Orleans, and now the Jags.
Yeah, he'll probably get another job somewhere.
But you like to think he had a chance because Travis Etienne got injured and he was out for the year. So there was an opportunity there to at least, make the top 3.
Yeah. And I'd say this about Devine and Dedrick Mills. I think they're both kind of on that practice squad line, right? Like where it's hard to be a running back in the NFL, right? I mean, you have to be an all-world type of talent just to make a roster. And they were solid, but I don't know if they're going to have a trouble to actually get too many snaps in the NFL. I know, and Zigbo has had a few of them, but that's kind of disappointing. Obviously, Lamar Jackson starting at times for the Jets, kind of surprising to see him go. He'll probably get another opportunity. So, like those guys, are some of the cuts that you're talking about. Maybe we'll get an opportunity. There's still practice squads to be made, so hopefully that happens. A little bit disappointing to see DiCaprio, Boodle, and Dedrick Mills get cut, considering they could have came back for their super senior seasons.
The thing that stands out to me, and maybe this is a mean thing on my part, is the guys that didn't always perform at a high level, certainly not an all-conference level, are making NFL teams.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily what to make of that, but it does stand out.
Well, and it's hard. I know there's a lot of, obviously there's not a lot of buzz coming about the offensive line after week 0, but there was a lot of buzz coming into the year about maybe the younger, hopefully the work that's been done in recruiting, getting bigger bodies in. Now that Brendan Hymas and Matt Farniak have both made rosters, it's probably hard to imagine that offensive line getting a whole lot better than it was minus 2 NFL players, right?
Yeah, Hymas was not highly recruited coming out of high school. Nebraska got him late, and then I think Texas offered him very late in the process. But Farniak, remember all that money that Mike Riley spent going back and forth. I mean, they were taking private planes to Sioux Falls all the time and living in the living room of the Farniak household. And then his brother followed him. So they recruited the brothers together a lot. They were, I don't know what the mileage was, but they spent
They went up there a lot.
they spent a lot of money on one guy. And I always thought he had the ability to be a good offensive guard. I didn't think he was a tackle.
Right. And he was just kind of, that's kind of the disappointing. I mean, and we've seen this in the past. I mean, Brent Qualies are guys that just don't seem to have the impact at Nebraska and then go to have long careers in the NFL.
He's a perfect example.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully for Farniak, it's another one of those things, but it just didn't seem like maybe they got the most out of him here at Nebraska.
I want to mention this before we get to box tops. Offensive players on Nebraska's team for the newest version of Madden. Because we mentioned this the other day.
Yeah.
It's a weird team. It's all over the place. Tommy Frazier, one of the best quarterback in Nebraska football history.
Yeah, you can play him on Madden. That's sweet.
Amon Green, Rex, Andy Janovich. You've got Stanley Morgan, Irving Fryer, Brandon Hymas, Richie Incognito, Nick Gates, another one of those offensive linemen, who's actually pretty good. Alex Lewis. And then on defense, Sue, David, Malik Collins, Freedom Akamulladin, who just got cut yesterday, Carlos Davis, Luke Gifford. I think he's still with the Cowboys. Is Will Compton still in the NFL?
No, he's got a podcast though.
He does have a podcast, so you can listen to that and play Madden.
He's trying to make a team, but I don't think he got a team yet.
Lamar Jackson was
just got cut. Yeah.
Joshua Kalu didn't even play last year. I don't believe.
He's hurt for the year.
Is he just hurt? Okay. And then you've got Brett Maher, who just got cut from the Saints, and Sam Cook, who's been in the NFL for like 15 years.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing, and I haven't played Madden in years just because it seems to be all the same. Now there's new systems. My friend got one, so I might check it out this year, but it's very weird. So I don't quite understand the dynamic, but the teams, there's like 10 college teams you can play with. Nebraska among like Michigan State and USC and Texas and teams like that, where they have these traditional teams, but they've only put in enough work to put like 5 legends on, and then they just pepper the rest of the squad with what you have in the NFL. That's why you have like Freedom Akinmullen. I don't think anybody in the NFL knows who that is.
It's a cool name,
but he's on a team just because they needed another defensive end, and they didn't want to go make Grant Wistrom for some reason.
Well, they already had Randy Gregory. They had to find another defensive end. You can't find.
It's just very weird. It's like Madden's doing enough. They're putting all the work to I don't know if Memorial Stadium is going to be in it, but they're doing all the work to put the Nebraska in it, and then they're just like, apparently there's only enough days designated to make like 5 creative players, and then they're done.
Yeah, they got busy, and so they just start throwing names on the team, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's still cool to play Nebraska on Madden.
It's very cool. Time for box tops. Bock, please hit the sounder, if you will. right. Here's the 10 best or most celebrity.
Most notable.
Yes,
alumni in Box Head, basically. This is all over the place. But in any case, and I did do third person.
It'll be very entertaining when we'll learn about Fordham.
I left, for what it's worth, Andrew Cuomo is also a Fordham alumni.
Oh, is he really?
I left him on the list. He's been a little bit of stuff lately, so we're going to keep him on.
He's had a tough time.
Yeah.
So he needs to be on a good list.
Well, I'm keeping him off the list.
Oh, you kept him off the list.
I don't want to talk too much about him. Amanda Seyfried is a. I don't even know if that's how you say her last name, but she was in Mean Girls, so she would be on my top list.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I was told earlier by Happer I can't
Which
play
one
the
was
Mean
she
Girls.
in a
comment.
Mean? I love Mean Girls.
Yeah, she's the one that goes. I'm sick. She says, I can't go out. I'm sick. She's faking it.
She's that one.
Yeah, and she's gone on to have a pretty good career. So at least that actress as well. But she didn't make the 10 either, just because Happer won't let me play words that they say in Mean Girls on the radio.
We could have bleeped a little bit of it, right?
I bleep. You know what? I spent a lot of time bleeping another guy, and I decided to cut that too. It's just too much bleeping. So we'll start at number 10.
Right.
This is a duo, I'll admit it, but this is the athletes that come from the most notable athletes of late that have come from Fordham.
Okay.
Chase Edmonds right now is a running back in the NFL.
Wow.
Started competing with James Conner for the starting spot in Arizona. Actually, he might start in the NFL this year.
He has started before.
He has had a few starts there. He's played his whole career at Arizona. Hasn't like busted out or anything, but yeah, he always gets a few hundred yards. We'll see if this year might be his breakout year.
So he played his whole college career at Fordham.
He did. He was drafted, like I said, drafted by the Cardinals in the fourth round of 2018. He won the Jerry Rice Award as a freshman. You know what the Jerry Rice Award is?
No. Really good hands.
No.
Excellent. Good receiver.
It's the best freshman in the FCS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's you learned something new today.
There's so many awards that we should actually test you on them.
Yeah,
that would be a good Bock test. I bet you
that
would
would be
pass
fun.
I bet you would pass with flying colors.
Yeah, for a lot of them. I wouldn't have known the Jerry Rice Award either. FCS awards, I admit, I don't know too much about. But he was also a first-team FCS All-American in his junior year when he ran for 1,800 yards and 19 touchdowns. So he's pretty solid. Luckily, I don't think he's going to be on the team. Hopefully, hopefully not an NFL running backs on the team this year.
Yeah.
Also, the co-owning that number 10 spot with him is Smush Parker. You remember Smush Parker in the NBA?
Yeah, I do remember Smush Parker.
Yeah, he's like famous for being one of Kobe Bryant's worst teammates. He clashed with Kobe when he was on the team. This was in like 2005, 2006 when the Lakers were in between Shaq and Pau Gasol and just didn't have anybody, and those Lakers teams were awful. He admitted to intentionally ignoring Bryant and not passing him the ball. Bryant singled him out as a bad teammate in 2012, saying Parker shouldn't have been in the NBA, but the Lakers were too cheap to pay for a point guard.
William Henry Smush Parker is his real name.
One of the most notorious, I would say, NBA players, at least for that time.
Yeah.
Number 9, I don't think I grabbed anything for this guy. Let's see. No, I didn't.
You can shut off the music anytime you want to.
Shut off the music because I got some audio to play a little bit later. Number 9 on my list. I said a guy. I'm moving this person back. Lana Del Rey. Did you ever listen to Lana Del Rey?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
What does she do?
She's a singer. She's like I looked up her Wikipedia. She's like nominated for a bunch of awards, but never quite wins them. But anyway, in the fall of 2014, she enrolled there, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts. It's at least a notable name. Like I tried to look for some songs. I didn't really know any of them, so I left it go.
Is it Lana Del Rey, you said?
Yeah, Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
She's like Young and Beautiful, I think is one of her songs. Maybe one of her most people.
No, I don't want you to say. I've heard
beautiful.
No, I've never heard of her, but she's a big.
She's
celebrity.
notable. She's more notable than Smush Parker in my list. Number 8 on the list. Seriously, this takes a big step up from those people.
All right.
And Andrew Cuomo. Number 8 on the list. Michael Kay, the sports broadcaster, who is the television play-by-play broadcaster for the Yankees. He's also the host of the Michael Kay Show. Yeah, he earned his Bachelor of Arts in Communications from Fordham.
Is it considered a good broadcasting or communication school?
I didn't look that up, but I think so. Based on the names I have here, I would go ahead and say yes.
Wow, because I always think of like Syracuse being that.
Yeah,
and Northwestern, Missouri. Nebraska's not bad.
No, put Fordham on that list because after this list, you're going to say, yeah, they're pretty good school.
I'm going to put Fordham on the list, and not knowing anything about the list because I trust you with all my soul.
All right, let's see. Now I've got one. Should I just play these and have you guess who it is?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me guess.
All right, we'll see. Yeah, this guy went to Fordham.
Jupe,
applied for the Purple Heart.
Henry, you're not going to endorse this idiot's application, are you?
That's major to you, Captain.
Henry, you're not going to endorse this major idiot's application, are you?
Alan Alda went there?
Alan Alda did go there, better known as Hawkeye Pierce in the television series MASH. Of course, 6-time Emmy Award winner, Golden Globe winner. He studied English at Fordham University, where he was a student staff member of its FM radio station, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts.
Impressive. Their alumni list is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay. This next one, it takes a big. A former president actually went to Fordham. I didn't really put him on the list or do too high on the list or get.
Is he dead?
Get any audio? No, he's not dead. He's just somewhat controversial. Donald Trump actually went to Fordham in 1964, but he transferred after 2 years. He ended up graduating at the University of Pennsylvania. But
he did graduate though.
He did, but he not from Fordham. He just went there.
Well,
for a bit.
He's a president, and we went there. But you're right; he's controversial. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I didn't put him too high on the list. You can argue whether he's too high or too low. Maybe Hawkeye.
I'd rather not argue about.
Should I put Hawkeye above Donald Trump?
Alan Alda's big time.
I mean, was he the president yet?
No,
leader of the free world.
No, he wasn't.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Or ever. Actually.
Probably ever.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, number 5 on my list. We'll have another one for you to guess.
We've had all the introductions. We've had all the pomp and circumstance. We've had all the fuss and feathers. But it's time. It's time for Dodger baseball.
Is he the best baseball announcer of all time?
He could be certainly the longest running. It's Vin Scully of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 67 years calling games for the Los Angeles Dodgers, beginning in 1950 when the franchise relocated to Brooklyn. Ended in 2016. And he began his career as a student broadcaster at Fordham. He majored in English. He helped found the FM station there at Fordham. Was an assistant sports editor for his senior year. He sang in the Barbershop Quartet, played center field for the Rams baseball team. And he also called games for the baseball, football, and basketball before earning his degree.
Their alumni list is so impressive. I was not expecting this.
You are not expecting this. No.
Vin Scully is my favorite. He got ripped on the Kirk Gibson home run because everybody replays Jack Buck.
Oh,
I can't believe what I just saw.
Yeah.
And isn't that what it was? I think that's what he said. But anyway, nobody uses the Vin Scully call on television. Or actually, it might have been the reverse. It was Jack Buck. Jack Buck was on TV, and Vin Scully was on radio, but nobody uses that call.
And I probably put Vin Scully too low. That's just my own. For your list, he'd definitely be much higher.
Yeah.
But number 4, I'm not gonna have you guess this one. It's just I just got an interesting story from him. But number 4 is actually David Copperfield, the magician.
Really?
Yeah, he 3 weeks. Well, I have to admit, he didn't graduate. 3 weeks into his freshman year, he left to play in a musical.
I saw him once at Pershing Auditorium.
Did you? Was he good?
He was fantastic. He does this stunt where he's on stage, and you see David Copperfield, and there's this box, which I didn't think of anything. It was kind of a weird little box, and I was seated right where he comes up through the box, and like he's on stage, and then he's behind me. Like, how's that? There's no way that happens. I still don't know how it happened, other than he teleported himself from the stage to be right behind me.
Didn't he like make the Statue of Liberty disappear one year?
Yeah, that's right.
Like that? What does that mean? How did he do that?
You
have to look that
They
one
can't
up.
explain their secrets. Otherwise,
Right.
you'd know.
He's won 21 Emmy Awards and 38 nominations, 11 Guinness World Records that we were talking about earlier. Here's an interesting story from the magician David Copperfield.
I was doing a rope trick on stage. Nice routine with very sharp scissors. I was about to cut the rope, but I cut the whole tip of my finger off. And the tip of my finger was sitting on these scissors. I started to get faint. There's blood everywhere. And the audience started to applaud. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I think I cut my finger off. They take me to the hospital. And Mike Tyson's cut man was in town. And he sewed my finger back on. And you can't tell, it's like really amazing. But, I went over Niagara Falls. I was in an imploding building. I did all these crazy things. I'm totally safe. I do a rope trick and I end up in the hospital.
That's apparently the worst injury of his career so far.
That's crazy.
When he cut his finger off, or tip of his finger off.
That's why you got to rehearse. Of course, I guess you can't rehearse that. Either you cut your finger off or you don't. Where are we? Where are we on the list?
For the list of Fordham alumni, notable alumni, let's go to number 3 here, see if you can get this one. He's definitely probably ranked too high, but I love the NBA, so here it is.
James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Wow.
That is Mike Breen's call of the 2013 NBA Finals. Ray Allen's big shot that probably saved LeBron's year that year. Looked like the Spurs were going to win if he didn't hit that shot. Mike Breen, best known for bang.
Bang. What is that the best call ever? Or do you just like I always liked Marv Albert, just yes.
Yeah, Marv Albert's really good too.
And they're similar. I think it's almost like Breen watched Marv Albert for 20 years and then just stole it. And kind of made it better in some ways.
Yeah, he's a 1983 graduate of Fordham, and has obviously been play-by-play sports commentator for NBA on NBC or ABC, and is a lead announcer for the New York Knicks on Madison Square Garden Network as well.
Nice.
Yeah, number 2, and you would probably have him. You would think he's number 1. We've talked about him a little bit earlier in the week. Is Vince Lombardi.
I'll tell you something, Leroy. You're not going to get your job back unless we get a better performance. Get him out of there, will you?
Let's go now. A little life out here.
What the hell's going on out here?
That's awesome.
Vince Lombardi, very well known for his sideline. If you got a mic on him, he would always say, say that stuff.
Yeah. I love the NFL film stuff where they would have him on a chalkboard, drawing up plays, and you go, you're going to seal here, you're going to seal there, and you're going to right up the gut there.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly how he talked.
That's pretty much exactly how he talked. Actually. In 1930, Lombardi received his football scholarship to Fordham University in the Bronx to play for the Fordham Rams and coach Jim Crowley, who was one of the 4 horsemen of Notre Dame in the 20s. Prior to the beginning of his sophomore year, Lombardi was projected to start games at the tackle position. He was only 5'8", 180 pounds, so not a very big tackle. But back in those days, I guess it didn't matter. In his senior years, he was of 1936. He was the right guard in the 7 blocks of granite, which was the nickname given to Fordham's offensive line, which was really good. So he's part of a really good offensive line. But yeah.
And they call it the Lombardi Trophy, I think, still.
I think it's
still
pretty
the
well
Lombardi
known.
Trophy. And yet we never call him the greatest coach in the history of football. Maybe he's just too far, out of the picture. You just go, I wonder when Bill Belichick will, like when we get old, like we're in our 80s. Well, I'll be in my 80s way before you will.
I think so.
If we still call Bill Belichick the best ever.
I think there's a lot of just whoever's best on the day usually just that's probably the best.
That's
ever.
probably the best because I haven't seen anything past the last 10 years.
Yeah. So that's usually goes. Number 1 on the list is one of my favorite actors of all time.
King Kong ain't got on me.
You know that one?
I don't know.
That's Denzel Washington.
That's Denzel Washington?
Yeah, that was from Training Day. I had the whole scene, but he cussed too many times, so I left it out.
I've seen that. He's training. What's the actor? Ethan Hawke.
That's right.
I've seen the movie. Play the scene again because I didn't.
I cut out the scene because I just there's too many curse words. I was worried I didn't get one.
King Kong ain't got on me.
Ah, that's pretty good. I wouldn't have recognized that. I love movies about dirty cops.
That's right. He usually like Denzel's incredible, but he can only really play Denzel, which is basically a dirty cop. Or
I mean, maybe Tom Cruise is more of a chameleon, but once you get so famous, I would imagine it's tough to play any other character other than yourself.
Yeah. A lot of guys have to do that. Yeah. He by the way did play college basketball at Fordham under Coach PJ Carlissimo.
Their alumni list is better than ours.
It is better than ours. That's about as good as it gets, I think.
Although Carson is probably worth 100 points on anything on that list. I mean, so you could, if you weighed it out differently, or Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett, those two.
Yeah.
They were pretty big, but that list is got more depth.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. I didn't expect this looking up Fordham.
I didn't either.
Starts with Smush Parker. Go through some presidents, some all-time greats.
The great
magicians.
broadcasters. Yeah, that's a great list. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I also enjoy reading Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald. He wrote the article following Sunday's game. Are you angry or are you over it? But he never asked himself, I don't think, that question. We'll ask him coming up next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In Class A football in Week 1, Lincoln Northeast fell to Fremont in a shutout with the score ending 35-0. Lincoln High defeated Lincoln North Star in a thriller 26-24. Lincoln Southeast would beat Omaha North 29-19. For local recruiting, Blake Miller from Lord Central Catholic 8-man football team committed to Nebraska's walk-on football program on Sunday. And softball on Saturday, number 6 Lincoln East took home the LPS Classic Pool title. They went 3-0 in their run for the title. They defeated Waverly 6-1, Elkhorn North 11-1, and Omaha Burke 9-7 on their run. To set things up for high school football on Saturday, Lincoln Lutheran will play at Lincoln Christian, Omaha Bryan will play at Lincoln High, Grand Island will play at Lincoln Pius, Lincoln Northeast plays at Lincoln North Star, and Lincoln Southwest will play at Lincoln Southeast. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Tailgating is back, and Sartor Heyman Jewelers is offering a deal that'll really fire you up. Receive a free Traeger grill with a purchase of $2,500 or more. Take advantage of interest-free financing with no money down. Sartor Heyman has dazzling jewelry in every price range, so buy her the diamonds she's been dreaming of and get instantly rewarded with a free Traeger grill. Offer ends soon, so hurry in and get them while they're hot. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
We're in this together, and we will get through this together. The vaccines are tested effective and needed.
Welcome to the clinic with Charm.
Get your COVID-19 vaccine so we can do this. And this. And this.
We are now boarding flight.
Together again, because we got through it together. This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I wanted to see a team that was pissed, that was urgent, and I saw that from the get-go from the defense. Man, they look good. The defense was getting in the backfield right away. Those first couple drives, oh my gosh. Man. And then it just stopped. I said, this can't be a couple drives. It's got to be a full 60 minutes. If you are going to tell me, Cam Taylor-Britt, on Monday that this is your Super Bowl for the year, I better see 60 minutes of hell out there. Fire. I didn't see.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. We take our college football Saturdays so seriously at 93.7 The Ticket that one post-game show simply isn't enough. Join Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and DP for The Ticket postgame. 90 minutes following each Nebraska game at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. They'll break down the game from their vantage point and bring in special guests as well, with giveaways to listeners who drop by. It's The Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman and DP at Tanner's Bar and Grill. Sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning and Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance. You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. Some people reacting to your alumni list for Fordham. Vince Scully, really good one. In fact, Jason says great list. But I think our alumni could buy their alumni, Jake.
You think so? Donald Trump's on that list.
Warren Buffett.
Well, that's true. Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett's worth everybody in the world combined.
Yeah, and everybody, and he started making most of his money at a late age, right? I mean, that's one of the.
Yeah, that's right. I've always thought about that. You could buy Berkshire Hathaway stock back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And if you would have just bought, like secretaries that retired from Berkshire Hathaway are just multimillionaires.
Would be nice.
Yeah. I've gotten to meet him a couple of times. Have you ever met Warren Buffett, Tom Chattel? I'm guessing you have.
Yeah, yes, I did. I got to interview him in his office several years ago. It was right before the College World Series. I got like an hour and a half, and he was delightful. I knows a lot about sports. Talked about his childhood, Omaha, rooting for I think he was a Cardinal fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he's a big sports fan.
Yeah, and he's been close with Tom Osborne for a number of years. I know he has been a part of the mentoring program with Tom Osborne, and he's really kind of a sneaky, funny guy as well. Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald, you wrote about it. Are you angry, Husker Nation, or are you just over it? As you talk to people throughout the week, what are they saying?
Over it.
Yeah.
There's no panic, man. It's more like resignation. It really is, and I would add frustration as well. I think people, look, it's August. We're always optimistic. We can't help it. We're college football fans. It's part of our DNA. We get to August and it just clicks in automatically. We're okay. There's hope. I don't care where you are, what team, what quarterback or coach, what schedule. We got a chance. So Saturday, man, that was the one thing about that. It felt like, God, this is going to be a long year. And I think it reflected on how people feel about Frost as well. I think they're holding out hope that, okay, year 4, everybody's in place. This is everything should get started now. And it was just more the same, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I did this probably before most fans did, but I kind of transitioned from the thinking Scott Frost would work out to hoping Scott Frost would work out, and I think that's what a lot of people are kind of going through right now. But as we do move forward, like we said, there are 11 games left on the schedule. Obviously, not going to learn a whole lot against Fordham, but what are you going to try to take out of it? I mean, I think there's some things that you could try to see, especially maybe some of the help around Adrian Martinez. Didn't necessarily see it in game 1. Maybe it should at least be able to prove itself a little bit in game 2.
Well, that's what I wrote about. Nothing wrote about in August was okay. There might be a running game here, but you get that offensive line, and then these running backs take the pressure off of Martinez, take the ball out of his hands. Don't make him have to make plays all the time. And that's what I was hoping I would see in Illinois and they didn't. Either they obviously were not blocking well, and then he didn't stick with it. And we never really got to see the running game, and the offensive line stumbled out of the block. So that's what I want to see Saturday. I want to see, okay, is there an offensive line here? I want $7 a grand, and I'll take limestone or anything like that. Give me something to block, and that's what if they can't block up front, it's gonna be a long year.
Yeah,
the heavy lifting is coming up.
Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald is our guest. I guess the thing that has surprised me the most is Nebraska's always had, it feels like, a marquee running back. Whether you're talking about Rex or Amir or Roy Halou, even Divine Azigbo in 2018, but they've they haven't found any energy from that position. How do you explain that?
That's a great question. That's a heck of a question. Have these offenses been too quarterback centric? Maybe. Are they trying? I mean, they never really feel like they've. I feel like they've really adjusted to the Big Ten. The way to do that is to start punching people in the face and running the ball. And you feel like, okay, Scott finally understood that a little bit. Okay, he went out and they got Step. They've got the other backs. He understood it's got to be, 2nd and 4 is better than 2nd and 8, or 2nd and 10. So I think the guys are in place. I think they've got pretty good backs, not great backs, but I think between they probably got 3. Between those 3, I think you get a running game going. And so it takes commitment and it takes practice. We don't get to watch practice. We used to watch practice a long time ago, and it was, it got to be, well, we know what they're going to do. We don't even want to watch practice anymore.
Yeah.
They did the same thing all the time. But they were physical, and that takes, what Wisconsin and Iowa do, they do it every day, all the time. I just wonder, Nebraska, what are they practicing? Are they practicing the hurry up passing offense, or you hear that you hear stories that they are getting more physical and it's more ones on ones, and but that's what we need to see. And so I think to get running backs to come here, you got to emphasize what they want to do, and they haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, and the offense seems to be in a disarray, a bit of a mess in the week 0 matchup with Illinois. But now I thought the defense actually played somewhat okay. They gave up 30 points, a safety, a scoop and score. I mean, that's 9 points right there. So, 21 points on behalf of the defense. And that's maybe too much, maybe to Illinois, some people would say. But overall, I mean, that's about what I'd expect out of this defense moving forward. How would you grade the Black Shirts this past Saturday?
Good, not great, but I think that's where they are anyway going into the season. They're better. It's not going to be a great defense. I didn't hear JoJo's name a lot. I still wonder about that. Maybe just one of those days. Maybe they ran away from him. The one, my knock on the defense was the opening drive of the second half. And it looked like, they're off balance. Bielema started putting these little scat back guys in there. They were running the jet sweeps and going around the end, beating them to the corner, and it seemed like they were off balance. And it was a little too easy for the backup for Rutgers. Other than that, though, I agree. I think the defensive line looks like the best part of the team right now, and really played well. And so that's a good thing going forward. And I don't think they had all their guys out there either. So they're basically playing with 4 guys. I really feel like that's a good sign. But they're going to need help in that offense, special teams. You can't have a punter that does that. You got to flip the field. You've got to have field position on your side, and it's just one thing after another. So. Chandler, I feel like, is trying to hold things up by himself. And the defense is good, but it's not built to do that.
Yeah. Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald and Scott Frost used the term snake bit this week, because you're right. The defense ultimately really did play pretty well, but the one big mistake, the late hit on a quarterback, maybe, cost you an interception and later a touchdown. Big mistake by your quarterback cost you 7 points right before the half and maybe the game. Do you think snake bit was a good word for Scott Frost to use?
No, I don't like that. It sounds like an excuse. In this case, the snake is biting itself. I mean, they're doing these. They're doing these. The mistakes are things that they create. If anything, maybe they're trying. I've heard this week. That's been sort of an underlying theme of they're trying too hard. They're pressing. I'll try to make a play. That's what Cam Taylor-Britt did on that punt. Is trying to make a play. I get it, and it happens. You do press. You see the coach stressing out. It plays. Carries over. You gotta be disciplined. And okay, I'm going to do my job, and that's all I'm going to do. And we're not going to try to do too much here. They just don't have the confidence right now. But how do you get confidence? You make good football plays, good fundamentals, and then hopefully you get a break. But I don't like snake bit. I don't like the fact that the attitude is we just can't get a break. that's that's not Nebraska football that I've known for just about 40 years. It's a no excuses program, and just go out and do it. And so, it's like this 5-man, 4-man front thing. I don't understand any of that this week. I'm not buying it. I don't know why he said that. It's just the whole thing is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, yesterday we did see at least the university came out on with an effort to try to extend the sellout streak and give these tickets to some underprivileged kids, which is absolutely amazing, and certainly hats off to them for doing that. But beyond that discussion is the sellout streak still in jeopardy down the line, and how important is that for Nebraska football moving forward?
Well, it's how many people care about that right now? I think people care more about what's happening on the field. I appreciate the sentiment of trying to keep it going, but if you have to, and I love the fact that they're giving kids a chance to go to games. That's awesome. That's how you get people interested in Nebraska football. It's a great gesture. But as a sellout, it feels like it's propped up. I don't really know the spirit of a sellout streak, which is why you put it up on the stadium, on the side of the stadium there, and you show it off and you brag about it for years and years. The spirit is that people have always come. What's the saying? Nebraska through good weather and bad or whatever. Yeah. They always show up, and they haven't been, and people are kind of indifferent now and a little bit, and that's okay. It's okay to go through that. It's okay to have that. Yeah. You don't have to have everything, last forever. It's okay to start over. I think this program kind of needs to do that in some ways. So, my opinion, guys, is let's make that stadium the best stadium it can be. Don't worry about sellouts. Let's make it more fan friendly. Let's get those students where they belong in a good section of the end zone where they can make a difference. And let's give them a little area in the concourse where they can do social media and hang out. And by the way, maybe one day have a beer.
Yeah.
And let's put NFL stadium seats through some of the stadium. Let's shrink it down a little bit. Why does it have to be 90? Who cares about 90?
Yeah.
If 70, it used to be 76. If 75 is more comfortable, do that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think the experience should be the priority, not carrying on some old tradition.
What do you expect the mood to be like on Saturday morning?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's the strangest, it's probably my 32nd home opener, and this will be the strangest one I can remember because all these different factors. The first game in 2 years, but the loss to Illinois, the bad vibe, you got COVID. It's people are just kind of like, I'm not really fired up. There's not a lot of hype going in this year. It's weird, and I expect it to be weird on Saturday. Yeah. But maybe we'll get some touchdowns and some normalcy and hopefully a little bit of fun.
Oh, we need it. We need it, Tom. Hey, great stuff. Thanks for talking to us today. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. Bye.
Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald, the Hall of Famer. Always good to talk to him. What do you think about his take? Go down to 50 or 70,000. Make the seating more comfortable. Make it more NFL style. And maybe we could have a beer as well.
Yeah, I think it's time to look toward that and to make it. I always took pride in the bigger stadium, the better. I love that because you're competing with the Ohio States and the Michigans of the world in the Big Ten. There just aren't that many people, especially when they hit the 90,000, which they're not at anymore. But when they hit that, there's just not a whole lot of people that can say that. So I always like the bigness of the stadium, but as far as like comfortability and entertainment options, they can certainly do better, and it wouldn't hurt to take a few thousand.
Butts are getting bigger.
Yeah,
the fannies are getting bigger, and people want to be comfortable, or they'll just stay at home. And you're going to see some of that even this weekend. I'm hoping that the stadium is rather full.
Yeah.
that a lot of people just don't opt out for one reason or another this weekend.
I fear it might be pretty peppered.
I think you might be right. Let's get to break. 464-5685. Call the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Today it's Wingman. We're going to Bock's favorite songs through Bock's Vault. I don't know what it is. What would you describe it? Your favorite songs. We're gonna. I think on Wingman we're just gonna play Bock's favorite songs, and you have to guess. Hopefully, people will know them, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. No, I just pick out some popular ones.
You don't just have a bunch of obscure bands that you like.
I do, but I won't include them in this.
All right. So we'll do that. Call right now, 464-5685 for your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll do it next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Early break with Sip and Jake.
I wanted to see a team that was pissed, that was urgent, and I saw that from the get-go from the defense. Man, they look good. The defense was getting in the backfield right away. Those first couple drives, oh my gosh. Man. And then it just stopped. I said, this can't be a couple drives. It's got to be a full 60 minutes. If you are going to tell me Cam Taylor-Britt on Monday that this is your Super Bowl for the year, I better see 60 minutes of hell out there. Fire. I didn't see it.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 Oak Street.
We're in this together, and we will get through this together. The vaccines are tested effective and needed.
Welcome to the clinic with Charm.
Get your COVID-19 vaccine so we can do this and this. And this.
We are now boarding flight
together again, because we got through it together. This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Dancing at weddings, walking the dog, playing with grandchildren. These are the small moments that make life great. They're also the moments that chronic pain steals from us. Don't let chronic pain stop you or a loved one from living life. At MD Pain, we wrote the book on effective, ethical pain management. We offer the most up-to-date treatments from Nebraska's leading physicians. Don't let pain stand in your way. Call MD Pain.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Cloudy skies this morning should give way to a little bit of afternoon sunshine. We'll top out near 82, a southeast wind at around 15. We'll keep a few clouds around the region tonight with a low of 67. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, a decent chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms, and a high once again near 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is your go-to service call in Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for expertise, convenience, and reliability. As your home and business needs expand, so do the services Action can deliver. Now positioned as Southeast Nebraska's premier installer of charging stations for electronic vehicles, they're always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In Class A football in Week 1, Lincoln Northeast fell to Fremont in a shutout with the score ending 35-0. Lincoln High defeated Lincoln North Star in a thriller 26-24. Lincoln Southeast would beat Omaha North 29-19. For local recruiting, Blake Miller from Lord Central Catholic 8-man football team committed to Nebraska's walk-on football program on Sunday. In softball on Saturday, number 6 Lincoln East took home the LPS Classic Pool title. They went 3-0 in their run for the title. They defeated Waverly 6-1, Elkhorn North 11-1, and Omaha Burke 9-7 on their run. To set things up for high school football on Saturday, Lincoln Lutheran will play at Lincoln Christian, Omaha Bryan will play at Lincoln High, Grand Island will play at Lincoln Pius, Lincoln Northeast plays at Lincoln North Star, and Lincoln Southwest will play at Lincoln Southeast. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline on What's the Hook Wednesday for your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. So you can go get chickens.
Boyos.
Yardbirds.
All right. Today, I thought it was from Bock's personal music vault, but apparently it's from Nick's.
It's from Nick's. This week we got Nick.
But I'm not Nick.
But Nick's not here.
Do you know the name of the song? You know the name of the song.
He asked me if I knew the song before I played it. I did not know. I could not recall it based off of the name, but I immediately knew the song.
Okay.
But that's how my brain works a lot. I'm not good with bands or
we usually
titles.
say the name of the band and
I
the
know
name
tunes.
of the song. You guys can decide what you want to do when we get.
You got to give us both.
Yeah, you got to give us the name of the band and the name of the song. This is the song right up until the hook.
This is definitely a Jake song.
I can see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess.
What is it? I wonder if Paul knows. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hello. I'm great. Yes, I do know.
All right.
Sundown from Gordon Lightfoot.
That is exactly correct.
Way to go, Paul.
Is that his best? Paul, is that his best song? Are you a fan?
I am a fan. He has a ton of greats.
Yep, he's really good. I like If You Could Read My Mind. I like The Wreck of the Edmonds Fitzgerald. It's a really good song.
Sundown is his number one on Spotify.
Carefree Highway. Jake says.
His top
Carefree
5
Highway.
stream songs on Spotify are Sundown, If You Could Read My Mind, The Wreck of Edmund Fitzgerald, Carefree Highway, and Early Morning Rain.
Is he still dead? Is he alive?
I think he's alive. Is he
Gordon?
alive?
Is Gordon still alive?
No idea.
By the way, this is the song with all of the hook. Here it is.
Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping around my back stairs.
Seems he's alive.
Sundown, you better
I bet he doesn't sing like that anymore. He's got to be 80. Right?
He's 82 years old. Yep.
Yeah.
Still alive. Still
Way to
kicking.
go, Gordon.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
He was a great songwriter. Back in the day.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to know. Although you saw a version of him, both of you were at my wedding. Hell to Pay, the band at my wedding, plays Gordon Lightfoot songs.
Oh, nice.
What'd they do? I don't remember.
I think they did Sundown, but they take 70 songs like that.
No, they were great. Yeah.
And they speed them up really fast.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun.
No, it was like,
it's
like a party.
Yeah, it's a nonstop party. How you feeling today? Have you gotten all of your angst out of the way from Monday and Tuesday?
It was weird. My emotions. Bock could attest to this because we did the post game show together. But I wasn't particularly like angry after the post game. Or after the game. That wasn't like my reactionary emotion. It was just like, man, are we gonna do this again? And then I heard what came out after the game, and I got kind of mad.
From whom?
Scott.
Yeah.
He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He talks.
He is. He is. But I mean, that is a byproduct of losing so much.
Yeah, it is.
You can't say snake bit. I just don't.
No,
think,
that was the one that got
can't
me.
Say, and I don't even. If he wants to say, they thought they would see an odd front and they saw an even front, and that's a real thing. He's being honest. I can't blame him for that. But you couldn't adjust. I think that's what everybody's complaining about.
Or be better prepared.
Yeah, don't go into detail about how you didn't have a whole lot of
Let me tell you how unprepared
that's
we
as
were.
good of a window into what they do in practice as we've had in a long time, and it is not a pretty sight.
No.
If 50% of their playbook was taken away because they lined up at a different front.
I think Rick Kaczynski was on morning break or early break, and he said it looked like JV coaching. And that's harsh.
Well, and I listened to Jay Foreman the other day too. Said he had certain defensive coordinators that would just throw out the whole in the NFL, throw out like most of the playbook.
Right.
Sometimes I think we overcomplicate football and think that everybody has to be a wizard with all these different plays and stuff. Certainly, there's a lot more to it than just like what we understand, that we could write down. But a lot of times it just gets a little bit more simple because they need it to be.
You got to do what you got to do,
Yeah.
and you do what you do well. That's part of the issue. They don't really have a thing that they can kind of turn to when bleep hits the fan, as we've seen. But it's also letting the defense dictate how you play offense. You get down to the fundamental definition of the word. It's offense, man. You are supposed to be on the offensive.
And I thought that offense would include running the football. And from the end of the second quarter until almost the end of the third quarter, they didn't hand the ball to a running back one time.
Yeah.
One time. 69% of the offense came from your quarterback as far as running the football.
Yeah, and that's game script. They got down, and I guess I asked the question rhetorically, like, what's their identity? I mean, it's their identity is not what we want it to be. Their identity is not what they want it to be, but their identity is everything explodes and let Adrian make a play.
Yeah, I think
that's it.
I think you could have just stopped it with there. I mean,
everything explodes.
Everything explodes. Whether you're talking about offense, defense, special teams, everything.
And then Adrian makes a play for somebody, either Nebraska or the opposing team.
Yeah,
he'll make a play.
right. Yeah, something's going to happen.
It's exasperating. And I really bet on Nebraska. I said 31-17 because I just thought the odds say that at some point that won't happen. And yet it does every single time.
I'm with you, Tom. I think it didn't make us look good. I bought into what they were talking about in the offseason about getting the ball downhill and stuff like that. And I thought if that was the case, they'd be able to control the tempo, control the clock, control a lot of things about that game. And they just never did. It never happened. So that was, it was 30-9 at one point.
I know.
It was 30-9.
28 straight points.
That was so far off my radar. I didn't think that was possible. They came back and made it 30-22, but
it really wasn't possible. But Nebraska somehow makes it possible.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody's convinced Illinois is that good of a team coming out of that game either.
I'm not.
No, I want to thanks Hap. I appreciate you coming in and doing that
for sure.
Good segment. I like Gordon Lightfoot. I'm a big fan.
That's
Bock,
Nick.
We'll introduce Bock more to Gordon Lightfoot. Thank you, Nick. He's an old soul for sure. The national pundits have not been saying great things, national media, about Nebraska. And I have no idea why. But we'll talk about it next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Cloudy skies this morning should give way to a little bit of afternoon sunshine. We'll top out near 82, a southeast wind at around 15. We'll keep a few clouds around the region tonight with a low of 67. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, a decent chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms, and a high once again near 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Dancing at weddings, walking the dog, playing with grandchildren. These are the small moments that make life great. They're also the moments that chronic pain steals from us. Don't let chronic pain stop you or a loved one from living life. At MD Pain, we wrote the book on effective, ethical pain management. We offer the most up-to-date treatments from Nebraska's leading physicians. Don't let pain stand in your way. Call MD Pain.
Want to get a hot and perfect body fast? It's so easy. All you have to do is eat lots of bananas, but peels only, and always be sweating, but never look sweaty. That's disgusting.
Don't follow extreme routines. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness. Now through September 16th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and get back to a real routine with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join today for $1 down, $10 a month, and cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends September 16th. See club for details.
Tailgating is back, and Sartor Heyman Jewelers is offering a deal that'll really fire you up. Receive a free Traeger grill with a purchase of $2,500 or more. Take advantage of interest-free financing with no money down. Sartor Heyman has dazzling jewelry in every price range, so buy her the diamonds she's been dreaming of and get instantly rewarded with a free Traeger grill. Offer ends soon, so hurry in and get them while they're hot. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In Class A football in Week 1, Lincoln Northeast fell to Fremont in a shutout with the score ending 35-0. Lincoln High defeated Lincoln North Star in a thriller 26-24. Lincoln Southeast would beat Omaha North 29-19. For local recruiting, Blake Miller from Lord Central Catholic 8-man football team committed to Nebraska's walk-on football program on Sunday. In softball on Saturday, number 6 Lincoln East took home the LPS Classic Pool title. They went 3-0 in their run for the title. They defeated Waverly 6-1, Elkhorn North 11-1, and Omaha Burke 9-7 on their run. To set things up for high school football on Saturday, Lincoln Lutheran will play at Lincoln Christian, Omaha Bryan will play at Lincoln High, Grand Island will play at Lincoln Pius, Lincoln Northeast plays at Lincoln North Star, and Lincoln Southwest will play at Lincoln Southeast. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Tom and Bock. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Dirk Chatelain of the Omaha World Herald. Dirk's always got something to say, that's for sure. But I want to start this hour with this, because there's been some criticism, and not just because of the Illinois game. It kind of started a week before that with the NCAA alleged violations against Nebraska football with illegal practices, behind the scenes, hiring a consultant. I don't think the practices necessarily happened. I don't know if there's any proof that it did, but that started kind of a little bit of a national firestorm against Nebraska football and Scott Frost. And then you kind of go out and lay an egg, which I think we all agree they did, against Illinois. And at one point, you're down 32-9. 39. And you end up losing that football game because you gave it away. But now the national pundits are piling on. You've got several doing it. Dan Wetzel, one of them. Pat Forty, another. You had who was the other guy in that group? Anyway,
Yeah, they had this like a Yahoo podcast.
yeah,
basically,
it's a
just
Yahoo
breaking it down.
podcast. I think 40 works for SI, or used to work for SI, but they do the podcast. And this is what Wetzel said about Nebraska.
I don't know what you take out of this for Nebraska. I mean, the coaching was terrible. The execution was terrible. Mental errors. Maybe most concerning, there was just nobody any good on the team. Like when they were coming back, like their comeback attempt, you're like, who? Like, there's no separation on the wide receivers. Like, there's no game ranking talent. I mean, it's 4 recruiting classes in.
That's the question that kind of stuck out to me, and we've been talking about it. Brett Bielema with the coaches, we felt like all we had to do is stop number 2. Like that's the only guy they really had to worry about. I don't believe that's the case, but that's the criticism that Nebraska's getting right now. They're just not very good. They're not very talented.
Well, and that's going to happen if they averaged 23 points per game last year, mostly based off Martinez scrambling and trying to find anything that he can. And now they go out and score 22 against, a first game head coach at a new university for him. All this is deserved. And again, it's because it's week 0. Again, if this game was played on this weekend, nobody's going to pay too much attention. You'll see Nebraska lose to Illinois at the bottom of the ticker. Figure same thing happened as usual, but they watched it. They watched the same thing happen as usual, and they're just as dumbfounded or infuriated as us Husker fans. Probably not as infuriated, but just probably to a degree a little bit upset, because I think most of them, there are certain guys that will cheer against Nebraska nationally, but most of them want Nebraska to do well for college football.
College Football Inquirer is the name of the podcast. Dan Wetzel, Pete Trammell, and Pat Forty. Pat Forty's been critical of Nebraska football for a while now.
Yeah.
And we'll get to some of his comments, but I do want to go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline and take a quick call from Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hey, guys. Well, first off, I just wonder when they're going to realize Cam Jurgens is in the center. And how many years is that going to take? Yeah. And then, but the idea with getting the tall receivers is they don't have to get separation. Yeah. That was my understanding. So you got these tall receivers, and you got to have a quarterback who can throw it in the window where they can catch it, and then they're supposed to go get it and be big and strong enough to maybe break a tackle. We're not going to get separation from these receivers. We're a pretty slow offensive team right now. We're really, really, really slow. Yeah. But the point being that we now have big receivers that can outmuscle the smaller guys covering them. Yeah. And, we have a 6'9" tight end, too. It'd be nice if we could throw to him, before 50 minutes have elapsed in the game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's just when are they going to figure out Cam Jurgens is not a center? I mean, the NFL will.
Yeah. There you go. Thanks for the call, Chris. Separation with wide receivers, you're not supposed to with big, tall wide receivers is his argument anyway. And Toure did look like he was getting separation more regularly, not all the time, but more regularly than anybody else that I saw.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, this is part of the problem, and he hit the nail on the head there. The offense does look slow. There's not necessarily a guy that's going to break the top off the defense. And the other thing about those big, tall receivers, you got to be pretty accurate. If you're going to use their wingspan, you got to be somewhat accurate. Now, again, you don't have to be perfectly accurate, but you can't throw them way over their head. Yeah. That Austin Allen pass underneath, I know everybody points to the fact that he only had that one reception there late in the fourth quarter. They targeted him in the red zone, which is open. What they should be doing. He was wide open. He had one guy to beat for the first down, but that's where the big, tall 6'9" guy should come into play. If he's against a corner, he should be able to fight for those 3 yards, and you can throw under the sticks to him. He should be able to get it.
464-5685. Let's take another call. Hi, Trev. How are you?
Hey, guys. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I just want to throw some things. That previous caller, Cam Jurgens, it's not just throwing the ball back to Adrian. Yeah. I mean, he's got to worry about a 300-pound lineman knocking his butt off.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not as easy. I think that was a bad snap, and Nebraska ended up overcoming it on that drive where Adrian finally got a first down with his feet. But it did cost you a couple of minutes, that bad snap, and it just felt like, here we go again. It's more of an attitude than anything else.
Well, and it might sound weird, but and that happened a few times where they were kind of put more behind the sticks. And last year, they could not figure out a way to get a first down out of that, and they did a few times. So those mistakes weren't as damning. So that's one small, and there's not a whole lot of positives you can take for the offense, but one very small positive to the Cam Jurgens thing. We'll have to see how it plays out this year. If he has won a game, that's too much.
Yeah.
And he's had those struggles his whole career here. Didn't play center until he got to Nebraska. So it's interesting because both callers are right. The first caller is absolutely right. The NFL will not play him at center if that continues to be an issue whatsoever. It just won't happen. But to the other caller's point, there's a lot that goes on with the center position. And he's a darn good player altogether at that position. He just the snapping problems have to stop. Otherwise, I mean, it's not the end of the world to tell a guy, hey, you're not center, but you could play in the NFL at guard. Like, that's still pretty darn good.
I'm not convinced yet that he's not a center. I know that there's been too many bad snaps, but there is no denying he's a really, really good athlete. Yeah, maybe moving him to guard is the easy answer, and Trent Hickson or whoever wants to take over at center. Maybe that is the answer. I would need to see more than just one bad snap this year.
Yeah. You're right, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, we saw so many last year.
Aren't you convinced by now? But
one more time.
But if it does happen against Fordham, then you're starting to think like this has got to stop. This experiment's got to stop.
Breaking news: NCAA dropping. No, that's not true. That is not.
Did you get a text line breaking news?
That's a text line breaking news. But Adam's trying to think that something's going on behind the scenes. 464-5685. Is Mike there? Hi, Mike.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Good. So I have been in the camp of getting rid of Frost ever since the second year. I thought he had the talent and just didn't execute very well. The way how I see it now, though, I'm going to propose a hypothetical, and then I want you guys to tell me what you think. There's a chance that the Huskers could be the worst team in this division by the end of the year. Let's say that happens, okay?
Yeah.
Would the Husker head coach job be the least attractive job for Power 5 outside of the Big 12? Considering lack of talent, you really do have to rebuild everything. And the amount of scrutiny that comes with the job just because of the fan base. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. What do you think?
Well, it's an interesting thought, and I do think that there are some things that have piled up against Nebraska over the years. I think this leaked videotape from Scott Frost from inside the program is not good, considering we've already had leaked audio against Bo Pelini. So that starts when that stuff happens over a few coaching tenures. It starts to add up as that place inside might be a little bit toxic. You might have enemies within your own department. So that's what I fear. I don't know. I don't think it's a complete rebuild necessarily. I think there are some young players on this roster that you could be pretty excited about, but it's to his point, I don't know if it'd be worse. It's not going to be very high, and that's what I worry about if they do have to let Frost go. And this is a little bit early for it, but a caller throwing it out. If they do have to let him go, I just don't think it's going to be near the top of the list. I don't think the scrutiny is going to be quite as high. I think to that point, 5 straight losing seasons will pile up, and the expectations aren't going to be to come in and win 9 games right away, like they were for Frost, like they were for Riley, like they have been for everybody. It's sad, and that's why it's frustrating to see this happen. Is the program expectations are going to have to go down if you end up having to let Frost go.
464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line. Well, Tom, we do have multiple years of evidence to support that Cam is not a center at the collegiate level. Are you people smaller and slower in the people smaller and slower in the NFL? And I'm not sure what that means, but I think that they rushed Cam into being a center. Like, he got here and you're a center. I know you've been a tight end for your entire high school career and you know nothing about playing center, but you're a center now.
You should start.
Maybe you shouldn't have started him right away, especially it's that whole argument that we always go back to, that if those snaps were happening that regular on that much of a regular basis, in games, they were happening sometimes in practice. And they're talking more and more than they ever have, and good for them, about trust. Like, you have to earn it in practice, and you should have to. Maybe Nebraska was at a point when they decided to start him that he wasn't ready, and they thought, well, we're building this thing from the ground up anyway. It might as well start with the center.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably had something to do with it, because the level of patience that they've shown with him throughout this this project has been a lot. I mean, I think the fans will admit it's been a lot. And again, it's uncomfortable for me to watch the game because, throughout the game, I kind of forgot about it, right? And then there it was. And then everybody goes, well, there's the Husker game bingo under Frost, because you got to expect that. But it's going to be uncomfortable if it happens again, because it is to the point where it's just, there at least has to be 3 or 4 games in between the next mistake where he has, where otherwise it's just, I just don't know if this is working. And so, you could say you're ready to give up or not give up on it, but to me, it's right there. It's right on the line to say, and there's no doubt about it. He's going to be a good offensive lineman. He's a good offensive lineman right now. He might be a great offensive lineman one day. But he just might not be a center, and that's fine. The other problem they have is a similar problem that you have at quarterback, and we saw this last year. You bring up the backup centers, it's not like they have a whole lot better, and so it might be amazing to all of us that they don't have a guy that can snap and play the center position like most college football teams are able to roll out there. But I'm not sure if they do have too many options behind him. And again, it goes back to practice. Would you be able to see that? I
want to get back to this football podcast. We heard from Dan Wetzel. Also on that podcast, Pete Tramble and Pat Forty of the College Football Inquirer. This is what Pat Forty said about the current state of Nebraska football.
Frost, as we know, is prickly and cocky, and he got his hand caught in the cookie jar with these improper practices that is now an NCAA investigation, and got trotted out in front of the media, and he was embarrassed about it. And so he spent last week trying to be Bill Belichick with the media in Lincoln. He had 2 press conferences and spoke for a total of like 7 minutes. And every answer was this snippy, hands on hips. We're just getting ready for Saturday. We're just preparing for Saturday. We're just preparing. I mean, just like purposefully being a dick.
There you go. Dump that. There you go. Kind of a jerk. I mean, just a complete.
Very rolling off on him there.
A little bit of a jerk there, Pat Forty. I never liked the guy. And now I really don't like him. And it's not what he said. It's kind of how he says it, isn't it?
Yeah. He's in a lot of people have pointed out. He's I'm trying to think of him. Was he the Missouri grad? But in any sense, he might just never like Nebraska in general.
Yeah. He's one of those hot take guys. You say something to get a hot take. And it works for a lot of guys. I mean, you've worked with guys like, I have too. I mean, it's kind of fun, actually, because the phones will light up. But he likes the hot take. And
but I mean, these guys too, I mean, you can get frustrated that the national media is saying it. They're basically saying the same thing we are. You just hate to hear the fact that it's going out to the national audience.
Right.
But it is what it is. And it kind of helps validate your own thoughts, I guess, as you're seeing it, that maybe this is frustrating, but maybe I don't watch enough college football to know that this is happening with everybody. And it does happen to more teams than you think. But, these guys are validating that, hey, this looks like a mess in year 4. And they're just like everybody else. It's not just like the Nebraska fans are stunned by the fact that Scott Frost isn't working out. Not many guys go around holding Coach of the Year trophies. You don't just hand those things out. And for a Coach of the Year, a former Coach of the Year, to have a product like this, it's dumbfounding to everybody.
Well, Kirk Herbstreit has also spoken out in a little more, in a softer tone for sure on his podcast. But he says this about Nebraska. People keep saying players don't want to go to Lincoln, Nebraska. Do players want to go to Iowa City? Iowa, they win 8, 10, 11 games, and then they go back to 8. Don't give me Lincoln, Nebraska. There are coaches that are winning. There are programs that don't have the pedigree, don't have the facilities, don't have the history that Nebraska does. I'm dumbfounded When Scott Frost was hired, I thought, here we go. This is going to be good. If Iowa can do it, so can Nebraska. And I think we think that way. We look around, especially the West, which we thought Nebraska would dominate by now. And they haven't, because they're not more like, they could be a little bit more like Iowa and Wisconsin and even Minnesota, what they're doing right now.
And now Illinois. That's what the Big Ten West is getting more physical with that hire of Brett Bielema. And it's Nebraska's just not at that level to where, there's plenty of games in the Scott Frost era where I feel somewhat bad for how much Scott Frost takes on the chin for not being able to call a good play or call a good game, because sometimes it's just not there. If you can't, it still goes back on him coaching, but as the play caller, if you can't run the ball up the middle and you can't throw the ball deep, there's not a whole lot that you can do to scare the defense like we saw Illinois do. They'll stack the box up you, make sure you don't get that run game going.
Hey, Bock, it's very possible that Illinois could go undefeated. They're already 1-0.
That's
that
possible.
team might be for real. They could be good.
And if they weren't, it's only because their starting quarterback went out. I mean, that's a lot to overcome.
His name is Artur Sitkowski. Big Ten Player of the Year, by the way.
Big Ten Player of the Week. They did announce the Big Ten Players of the Week. The offense.
Where
defense,
Nebraska make it any place?
No. Who would you choose? The specialist was that punter. Okay. The freshman was like the wide receiver that caught it at the goal line. I mean, they all had reasons why they were picked over Nebraska players.
Darius Payne, 2 sacks.
That's true. He could have got the defensive
2 sacks.
And 3 sacks in his last 3 games. He's on a bit of a tear.
That's right. And he's P-Payne, Major Payne. And he doesn't reject those, although Darius is tough to beat. That's a really good name. Dirk Chatlin is also tough to beat. He writes for the Omaha World Herald. We'll talk about the sellout streak, some other things that he's been tweeting about and writing about, and we'll do that next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Tailgating is back, and Sartor Heyman Jewelers is offering a deal that'll really fire you up. Receive a free Traeger grill with a purchase of $2,500 or more. Take advantage of interest-free financing with no money down. Sartor Heyman has dazzling jewelry in every price range, so buy her the diamonds she's been dreaming of and get instantly rewarded with a free Traeger grill. Offer ends soon, so hurry in and get them while they're hot. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus, as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
No doubt about it, a water softener saves you money. Don't have one? Call the plumbers at Bryant. Just one call and no arm-twisting contracts. For a free estimate, call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com.
We're in this together, and we will get through this together. The vaccines are tested effective and needed.
Welcome to the clinic. Which arm?
Get your COVID-19 vaccine so we can do this. And this. And this.
We are now boarding flight.
Together again, because we got through it together. This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big news on opening night for the Huskers. Is this for the Husker basketball team?
This is the Husker basketball team, yeah.
What's going to happen?
Well, they've just announced their opening night will be Friday, October 1st. I think this is similar to what they did with Rick Ross, where you just kind of have a little party down there, have maybe a little basketball scrimmage, and invite a chart-topping performer to come in. And this year's chart-topping performer is none other than G Herbo.
Oh, wow. That's big news.
You're a big G Herbo fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got all of his stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dirk Chatlin does. Ever heard of G Herber? Hobo? Herbert? What's his name?
G Herbo.
G Herbo. Are you a big fan?
Man, you guys, I already feel like a 50-year-old in a 40-year-old body, but you're making me feel even worse.
There you go. Well, we'll all learn about him together for basketball opening night. Dirk Chatlin of the Omaha World Herald. You've tweeted it that maybe this is a really nice move that Nebraska is making with the red carpet opening and having underprivileged kids in some cases get tickets to these football games. But ultimately, the sellout streak is going to end, in your opinion, right?
Well, I guess it depends on how motivated Nebraska is to officially extend it. I think it's a really nice 1 week gesture, to do this. I think it draws attention to a really good, action. I think Nebraska football needs to be more inclusive of people across the socioeconomic spectrum, but I don't necessarily think that this is what you want to do every single week in order to prop up a sellout streak that, for all intents and purposes, has probably run its course. And I say that knowing what it means to people, but the reality is, it's time to probably put that behind and make some changes to the stadium experience and try to appeal to a little bit different style of game day atmosphere.
Do you think there's a danger in moving away from the past? At times it seems like it would be a good idea, but maybe while the team is down, like in a 5-year drought, obviously that they're in right now, or do you think that that's the best time to start kind of distancing yourself from the success of the past?
Well, I don't know if you distance yourself from the past. I think you're just trying to modernize a little bit. We've been through these cycles a lot over the last 20 years. Bill Callahan famously gutting the walk-on program, and Bo Pelini famously changing the black shirt tradition, and Mike Riley changing several other things along the way. And I think you have to find a way to kind of balance the two, right? You're trying to appeal to a younger generation and recognize the future of the program. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Nebraska could keep this thing going organically, I think it'd be great. I mean, I think who wouldn't want to have, a banner up that says in 50 years that Nebraska sold out 1,000 consecutive college football games. But I think it's not worth, in my opinion, sort of propping it up for the sake of presentation or image when you could probably pivot to a slightly more modern template or formula. And I think there, you guys know this as well as anybody, but Saturday in front of the TV has never been easier or more appealing. And I'm not saying the two have to be. I'm not saying you have to modernize the stadium because of the sellout streak is ending, but I think it is sort of a natural time to do so. I mean, Nebraska, in my opinion, Nebraska should have reduced stadium capacity to probably 80,000 over the last year or two. I think it would have been, if there weren't 10 other things going on with COVID protocols and trying to balance budgets, I think it would have been a good time to do that anyway. To me, this next off season is kind of an opportunity to introduce a newer, more modern Memorial Stadium experience, and you can do that, I think, a little bit easier with the sellout streak not part of the equation.
He's Dirk Chatelain of the Omaha World Herald, our guest. I think you wrote about this in your post-mortem column after the Illinois loss on Saturday, that Frost would have to win 9 in a row to catch Riley and 14 in a row to catch Bill Callahan. And you look at those stats, and it just seems mind-numbing. I mean, nobody thought we'd be in this place. If you were to define the Scott Frost era at this very moment, what would it be?
Well, it'd be a huge disappointment. I think even his most adamant fans would confess that. It is one of these things, though, where I don't know if it's because of the pandemic, but I do catch myself like once every week or 2 or 4. I almost have to like shake myself and just recognize how bad it's been. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, I realize they haven't played a lot of cupcakes along the way, and they didn't play non-conference games last year. They didn't play Akron the year before, in the first year, but it's been worse than even my memory tells me that it is. It's I don't know if it's because it's Frost or if it's because there's been so much other things going on in the world, but it's almost like I have to remind myself how bad it's been. And, I think Saturday, unfortunately, was a pretty stark reminder based on how poorly they played. That's a game that Nebraska should win against a backup quarterback, against a first-year head coach. That's a game Nebraska really doesn't have any excuse losing. And the fact that it played out like it did, how it did, was really, really discouraging. I think it just it shook everybody. It shook everybody who believed that the program could kind of fix some of these things, some of the messes. What I keep telling people is that it's almost like it was a mirror image of the Rutgers game that they won, at the end of the season last year. And when you think about how much preparation time went into, 8 months, 9 months of trying to get this thing right, and to come out and play a game that was almost a mirror image of a game that they played just as poorly in December. They won, but they were just as sloppy. I just thought that was really discouraging. So I took a pretty hard stance in my Sunday column, but it was based on the fact that I thought they might be better, and they clearly were not better.
Just looking at your Twitter right now, at Dirk Chatelain, by the way, if you want to go follow Dirk Chatelain on Twitter. You just tweeted out about an hour ago that it's not too late for Frost. If he can show even minor progress in the next 3 months, he will get the benefit of the doubt. What does minor progress look like in the next 3 months? And I guess how long does the benefit of the doubt last for Frost?
Well, I think it probably lasts. It's an interesting season in that, it's really, I mean, it's kind of it's backloaded, right? So, yeah, the Illinois game was kind of tough, and they have to play Oklahoma, and there's some big games in October, but it really gets serious in November with those 3 huge games. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa. I think that's a factor in this whole thing, that even if Nebraska makes improvements, they're going to be facing a gauntlet in the last month of the season. So I think a lot of this, the perception of where the program is, I can't speak for Trev Alberts or Ted Carter or the Regents or the boosters, but my sense is a lot of the sense of progress or lack of progress will depend on that last month. Those last 3 games, because Nebraska's really going to have to be playing better to even stay in those games in the last month of the season. So, they got to hold it together. They got to make improvements. They've got to take opportunities, against Fordham and Buffalo and Michigan State to gain some confidence. And then they're going to have some weeks where they just kind of hold on. And Oklahoma is obviously going to be one of those.
I think you tweeted that maybe Nebraska never gets back to the 90s or 80s or 70s for that matter. But can they be Iowa or Wisconsin? You mentioned the last month of the season. Those are 2 of the teams, Nebraska on the road to Madison and at home versus Iowa. Nebraska should be that good, at least, right?
Sure they should. Absolutely. Yeah, there's really no excuse for that. I mean, when you look at some of the success within a 400-mile radius over the last 10 years. I mean, Kansas State had a run there with Snyder. Missouri's had some runs. Iowa State now, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northwestern. Basically everybody's kind of had their at least a breakout. And in the case of Iowa and Wisconsin, those breakouts have been pretty consistent. So, I think Nebraska needs to be at that level at least. If they can't compete with Ohio State and Oklahoma, fine. But you need to be at that level, Wisconsin and Iowa. And I hear a lot of talk. I mean, I feel like I read a lot of the national stuff and listen to a lot of national podcasts. And it always kind of, to me, the lazy analysis of Nebraska football is, well, they don't have a recruiting base. They don't have all the advantages they had in the 90s. And the reality is that is true to a degree, but it's lazy in the fact that it doesn't account for what everybody else is doing around Nebraska. It's like if Matt Campbell can get Iowa State into the top 10, what is the excuse in Lincoln?
Yeah, that's a good point. One more before you get out of here. Can Nebraska gain anything by playing this game this week?
Well, I think they just need to gain some confidence. I mean, they've got to. That had to shake players on the team in the same way that it shook fans. And I think you just have to slowly start rebuilding the psyche of the team. It's got to be hard for those guys. I mean, I really do have empathy for the players in the locker room who are trying to make this right. And they come out and they play poorly again on Saturday. So I think they need a step in the right direction. They need a little confidence, and hopefully over the next 2 weeks they can build it.
Great stuff, Dirk. Thanks for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Dirk Chatelain of the Omaha World Herald. Good stuff. Can they gain anything? You think he's right that they maybe confidence?
Oh, absolutely. Confidence? They need this game more than anything. I mean, think about it. If you were heading to Norman this week or something coming off that game, they can gain a lot, and I think we can gain a lot from it too. I mean, if Gabe Ervin goes out and rushes for 100 yards, don't think that that's going to happen every game. But again, you need to see some of those pieces that were talked about in the offseason show at least a little bit of flash against a team like Fordham to believe that to build their confidence and to believe that that's going to provide Martinez with much help this year.
Yeah, I think they can certainly gain confidence. And I'd like to learn that they can gain so much confidence that the starters will be out of there by the end of the first half. And then you see guys like Savion Morrison. Well, I'd like to find out who the backup quarterback was.
That's an interesting discussion, though. I don't know how much I want them coming out of the game at all. I with how bad the program is, where it's
77 to nothing at the end of the third. They're not out of the game yet.
Maybe at some point you feel bad for Fordham, but I mean, I do think you got to get into the 50s, get into the 60s before you pull these guys, because you need as much game reps as you can to get this thing cleaned up. It clearly did not make the strides that you wanted it to over the offseason. This is where it happens. This is a game day.
Well, I remember back in the 70s and 80s, I remember some of those days, and you thought, it's 55-0. It's halftime. Should I stick around? I kind of see what Jeff Smith looks like, the third team I-back, and you would stick around. I long for those days when Nebraska can just put people away. Teams like Fordham, teams like Buffalo, hell, teams like Illinois, They were putting teams like that away all the time in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I just look forward to one game, even if it's Fordham, that could possibly happen. And I do.
It better happen. The line is at 40.5. That's what.
Would you bet Nebraska on that? I
don't think I trust.
Why
Nebraska
would you
there.
bet Nebraska on that?
That's dangerous, but it is. That tells you what the level of confidence is in his Fordham, because we all saw Nebraska and they didn't look like they're ready to beat anybody by 40.
No. Good conversation with Dirk Chatelain of the Omaha World Herald. We'll wrap up the show. Eat the leftovers. We'll do that next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloudy skies this morning should give way to a little bit of afternoon sunshine. We'll top out near 82, a southeast wind at around 15. We'll keep a few clouds around the region tonight with a low of 67. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, a decent chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms, and a high once again near 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket, sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
No doubt about it, a water softener saves you money. Don't have one? Call the plumbers at Bryant. Just one call and no arm twisting contracts. For a free estimate, call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In Class A football in Week 1, Lincoln Northeast fell to Fremont in a shutout with the score ending 35-0. Lincoln High defeated Lincoln North Star in a thriller 26-24. Lincoln Southeast would beat Omaha North 29-19. For local recruiting, Blake Miller from Lord Central Catholic 8-man football team committed to Nebraska's walk-on football program on Sunday. In softball on Saturday, number 6 Lincoln East took home the LPS Classic Pool title. They went 3-0 in their run for the title. They defeated Waverly 6-1, Elkhorn North 11-1, and Omaha Burke 9-7 on their run. To set things up for high school football on Saturday, Lincoln Lutheran will play at Lincoln Christian, Omaha Bryan will play at Lincoln High, Grand Island will play at Lincoln Pius, Lincoln Northeast plays at Lincoln North Star, and Lincoln Southwest will play at Lincoln Southeast. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final few moments of Tom and Bock, about 10 minutes left to go. Do you know the National Weather Service says that Tropical Storm Larry has formed on the eastern tropical Atlantic? It just makes me wonder, if your name is Larry, are you offended by that? Is that a compliment that they call you
a hurricane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like a Hurricane Bock, Hurricane Jake. That'd be pretty cool.
I think there are Hurricane Jakes. I don't know that there's a Hurricane Tom or a Hurricane Bock.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, they do it by the first letter, right? So
Right.
Tom would have to be like the 26th. I don't know what number letter that is.
Yeah. I don't know what number or what number of letters you're trying to count the.
Yeah, right. Because they do it with.
That's how they do it.
The first storm will begin with an A. The second one will begin with a B. So yeah.
What did you want to be a meteorologist at one point or something?
No, I don't know too
how
much.
do you have?
I just do that.
How do you have all the information? That's impressive, Bock, that you just pulled that right up. You know, Ben Simmons is demanding to be traded. He is really mad that he's on a team that doesn't seem to want him. I mean, they've been trying to trade him for a while, but they've been demanding these ridiculous, like
returns.
Yeah, they want 3 first-rounders. They've said that at one point or another. So he's just kind of had it. He at times looked like he played pretty well in the summer league, but he says he's not going to show up to training camp if it's with Philadelphia. Sacramento Kings apparently are expressing some interest in Simmons, but it doesn't look like anybody else is. He is an elite defender.
He's an all-star. He's a 3-time all-star. He's just not somebody that you can have in the fourth quarter of a major game. I mean, that's the problem. The Kings, he's perfect for, because they haven't made the playoffs since 2005. If they did make the playoffs, they wouldn't really care how well they did. They'd just be happy to be there. But if you need somebody in the final few minutes, you want him out of the game, because we saw it last year, and he was especially bad at the free throw line in the playoffs this past year, shooting like 35%. He's usually not that bad, normal, like closer to 60, but still, you just foul him or leave him wide open beyond the arc, make him beat you with his shooting at the end. He's so, I mean, he's in a weird spot where he's like really good and would be a great teammate, a great role player on really good teams, but he's going to demand too much money for that because he's a 3-time all-star.
Well, he went from a mediocre offensive player. I think he was averaged 15 and 8 his first 4 years in the league, to whatever that was against Atlanta in the playoffs.
Yeah,
where he refused to shoot, and then he was not shooting at all well, to the point where like he didn't want the ball because he knew he was going to get fouled, and he was a terrible free throw shooter. 59%, I think, for the season, but he shot 14% from 3-point range, and then something just got in his head. Maybe it was when he signed the big deal. He's in the second year of a 5-year deal worth $177 million, and he's owed $147 million and $33 million next year alone.
And all of that was sitting on the bench in the most important part of the season because Doc Rivers couldn't trust him. I mean, that's the problem. It's not that the guy can't play basketball. He really is. I mean, he is what he is. He played 4 seasons now. He's averaged 15.9. The highest he scored is 16.9. The lowest he scored is 14.3. That's the same percentages around his assists and rebounds. He's a 15, 8, and 8 guy. That's really good. There's not a whole lot of those guys out there, but he's got such limitations to his game, and those type of numbers, you'll ask for that big contract, and nobody wants that guy on their court in the deciding minutes.
14% from 3-point range. Well, he never takes them, but a bad 3-point percentage is around 32. 14. I mean, he is, and he looked good, I thought, in Summer League again. I mean, it looked like when he's loose, he plays really well, but there's something about his game where just over the last couple of years, He was a decent offensive player at one time, and now he's just horrible.
Well, it really doesn't pair well with Embiid either, right?
Yeah.
Embiid's going to draw you in. He can kind of play around the wing too for a big guy as well. But a lot of the time, Embiid's going to draw you in to get open shooters around him. And Ben Simmons is the least, just another guy out there you don't want to shoot. So I would like to see him on another team and see how it works. But again, I don't know. Nobody's going to pay that much money.
No,
unless they're going to, unless you
get
want to
him
put a role
almost for
player.
free. Yeah, you'll get maybe a late first rounder. I would take Simmons. Like, would you want him on the Celtics? I don't know that I would.
I don't know. That's how every team
Kemba
does.
Walker was better than that, probably.
Yeah. It's just he doesn't fit the modern day basketball style of being able to shoot the three whenever it's passed open to you.
Delano Banton, though, we're rooting for him, and he's got a similar game.
I know, and that's why I'd never really completely bought in Delano, but he did get drafted. Toronto's giving him a shot. We'll see how it goes.
Let's eat the leftovers. Got about 5 minutes left in the show. Miami Dolphins are rumored to be, after troubled quarterback, I should say, Deshaun Watson. I know Jake doesn't believe it. Do you believe that the Dolphins are trying to acquire Deshaun Watson?
Well, their management came out and said Tua is their quarterback, so you have to believe them, right? I mean, they wouldn't lie.
No, they would. It feels like they've been lying about Tua the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, we love that guy.
Yeah.
Who else could we possibly have?
And they do that, meanwhile, always looking out for other options. And I think that's kind of where Tua is. He's going to be an okay like quarterback, but not more of a stopgap than anything else. And it's hard to say that about a guy that young. So I mean, there's still a possibility, but I don't know. Deshaun Watson also is very weird to talk about because he's one of the best players in the world, but he's got some off the field problems that could come back,
to say the least.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I were the Dolphins, but as a Vikings fan, I would take Deshaun Watson, even with the checkered past, recent past, over Kirk Cousins in a heartbeat.
Well, I mean,
it's not even close.
Well, that's what most people, most NFL teams would take that on the field product over what they got. So it's just, do you want that headache coming into your?
Yeah, you don't even know if he's going to be on the roster.
Yeah.
I guess. South Carolina, we talked about this, is starting an assistant coach, Zeb Nolan, at quarterback on Saturday due to the injury of Luke Doty, who was their starter. Which would be the better movie? Rudy, which we've already seen, or Zeb Nolan?
I mean, he has to have a lot of success. I don't think a victory over whatever
what if
Northwest
he gets into a bowl
Illinois
game?
State or whatever they're
What
playing.
if he wins 6 games, gets South Carolina, who hasn't been to a bowl game for a while, into a bowl game?
Yeah, that'd be quite impressive. It's interesting because it's Shane Beamer's first game too as a coach. So Shane Beamer decided to have his grad assistant start his first game at quarterback as the coach there in Virginia Tech. So I mean, I think it'd be a great story, especially if he can play well throughout the season. But it's just it's just hilarious to think in those meetings. I just always think like the coach would be do this, do that. Yeah. We can't do that, coach. I can do it. I'll just do it then.
Yeah, that's right. The largest newspaper in Japan. It has 7 million readers and wrote a column this week about Kishi Tamanaga, being in the Olympics, and he's kind of followed there. I mean, he has 100,000 Twitter followers and probably millions more than that in just followers. But Tamanaga will train in the NCAA. This is the headline that they wrote in the Japanese. Tamanaga will train in the NCAA, not at Nebraska, just in the NCAA, and challenge for the NBA. What do you think about that? I mean, he's going to be an instant celebrity when he hits down.
Oh, he absolutely is an instant celebrity. I don't know about his NBA game, and like you said, I'm not sure if there's an understanding of what the NCAA is. I mean, obviously in Japan, probably a lot more focus and attention on the pros, but I hope that it kind of can grow the sport along with him and grow Nebraska along with him overseas.
Yeah, I don't see him as an NBA player. He'd have to do a lot, but he'll make a lot of money just going back to Japan and playing football.
Well, they expect him to be the Japanese Steph Curry, is what they're calling him. So they think he should play in the NBA. Steph Curry, right?
All he's missing is 3 inches in size and Steph Curry's talent.
But Steph Curry is a liability on defense. So either way, I mean, he could maybe there's an opportunity. If he can shoot that well, he will.
Tamanaga, his best trait is not his defense either, but he's not a terrible defensive player, I don't think. Of course, the big story yesterday that New England cut Cam Newton and named Mac Jones as their starter. Better not get injured. The backup is Brian Hoyer.
Nice backup.
But Cam's stats 2,600 yards, 8 TDs, 10 picks last year. In the preseason, Mac Jones looked really good. He threw 1 TD. I think he led 8 of 8 drives for points. That's the reason you pick him. I mean, did they make the right move in your opinion?
Absolutely. And again, people are pointing to the Bears who are not starting their rookie quarterback in Justin Fields. It seems to be more often these days, start the guy, see what you got. Guys can come in and have more success in the league than they have in the past because all the rules are kind of bent toward the offense and making those stats better. And so I think it's a great idea. Cam Newton was always a stopgap quarterback. Go ahead and see what you have in your future pick that you did in the first round.
Is his career over? Or does he find a spot?
I think he'll play somewhere when somebody gets injured at some point this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Even if I'm Houston and Deshaun Watson's out the door, I'm not sure Cam Newton's the answer. In 2015, he was. I mean, he was the MVP back then. I don't think I see that same thing in him.
Well, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of free agent quarterbacks that are the answer. You just have to pick somebody.
Brian Hoyer,
right?
If you want a backup job in New England. We're out. Happy hour's next. Nick will be here in this chair moments away. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com